Futures back higher here this morning to kick things off, coming off a pretty negative week. To wrap things up on Friday, we did see a little bit of strength going into the close, but follow through to come here this morning. 0.72 right now for the NASDAQ, back to the upside. Whole bunch of things moving around as far as individual names are concerned. Intel higher to start things off here in the pre-market. NVIDIA and Broadcom reportedly testing chips using Intel's manufacturing process. We'll touch on that coming up. Tesla, never a dull moment. Tesla down 23% since the calendar rolled over into 2025. Lots of analysts with opinions on Tesla, as always. Can they find some sort of stability here? Big week on the economic calendar as well. It's non-farm payrolls week coming up on Friday. Lots to come between now and then, but going to be the next checkpoint as far as the economy is concerned.
Yes, sir. And Friday as well was going to be that crypto conference, I think, at the White House. Obviously, Donald Trump coming out overnight. Well, not overnight. Yesterday morning, I was watching this happen live. 10:30 or so, we got the breakout there on Bitcoin, all the way up into 95 and change. So on Friday, there's going to be a summit at the White House to discuss the crypto reserve. We'll talk a little bit about whether it's going to be a strategic reserve or something else. So that's going to be in focus today, Brendo. Also, Chinese EVs in focus. Yeah, ouch is the right word. Li Auto down 7.7, XPEV 4.7, and NEO 1. But what I took out of this is XPEV now is leading the charge from those three with deliveries. It used to be Li Auto, not anymore.
No, it's the landscape has definitely changed. But right across the board, all three of those you mentioned missing big time as far as deliveries go. So it's the beginning of the month, so we get Chinese EV deliveries. We should get Tesla deliveries here coming up in the next day or two. Yeah, there's an IBIT. We'll get some sort of major investment announcement from Trump coming up here as well. So huge pop here, 10.5% back to the upside. I mean, let's be honest, it's 4 days of downside that we had to end the week last week, getting erased here back higher. I just saw before we jumped on here at 8:30, MicroStrategy did not buy any Bitcoin last week.
Wow.
So not
Shocking.
taking advantage of the dip here.
Probably didn't have any money.
Yeah, I mean, at some point you got to just kind of put your hands under your seat firmly and just be a little bit patient. But yeah, we'll see what this major announcement is to come from Trump. And then, as you said, the crypto-specific meeting or whatever it's going to be coming up later in the week. Lots to get to today, though, guys. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. We could guess at what could the announcement be? What would be the most absurdly awesome thing? There's never going to be any more capital gains.
Right.
Well, he couldn't. I don't think he could do that.
Well, I thought it was that crypto reserve thing he's going to be talking about.
Well, we already know that. Or maybe it'll be specifics on it. That could be, I don't know, like the specifics of how it's going to go. So yeah, the thing is, it's at 1:30, which I feel like we've gotten used to the afternoon. Something's going to come from Trump, and then we'll get some headlines. So we're used to the whole headline thing by now. It's just at 1:30. You never know. If you're trading anything, you don't know what the announcement is going to be on. So it could be a lot of fun.
That's Friday at 1:30?
It's supposed to be today.
Oh, okay.
Major economic announcement.
Right. Okay.
Specifically investment. So
93,000 for Bitcoin.
Yeah. But it wasn't, as you were saying, it wasn't really Bitcoin that was the surprise. Everybody knew Bitcoin would be part of the strategic reserve. It was the fact that it was also ETH and Solana and Cardano and
that's it.
XRP.
Oh, Ripple.
Right?
Yeah,
Ripple,
right. It was XRP.
Yeah, that was the big shock.
Yeah, here's Cardano here, up 35% right now. There's Ripple up 7%. And this was coming from, there's the huge move up. You know, they had the biggest move because I think it was a big surprise to everybody. Huge. Cardano was down here 60 cents, 70 cents, 70 cents, boom, right back up there to $1. But if you're going to look here, we've already been up to this area. So I'm celebrating. I mean, I have Cardano. It's one of my, the holdings that I like, but I don't really know why it's included there. I'm quite nervous that maybe it won't be at the end of the day. But we'll wait to see here what that announcement is. I'm excited. I didn't even realize that was today. Here's Ripple right here as well. So I think we got up to 340 or 350 over the last couple months there on that news. Yeah, so 325 was the high. You're still sitting here at 267. So, a lot of potential here as well for XRP to get going. Watch out for these $3.25 highs. But yeah, maybe it's something about that reserve. We'll see what's going on, but that's IBIT. Really high. So we'll always have Tesla. We'll have Bitcoin right here. We do have Tesla on our watch today as well, up over 3%. That's really nice. I was at Elimination Chamber, and Cena It was amazing because The Rock came out with Travis Scott, which was great. They played If You Smell What The Rock Is Cooking, then it went right to Fiend. It was like a little bit of a mix. That was fun. And then Cena turned heel, and it was like all the kids in the crowd.
You can only imagine. Oh, boy.
My brother is nuts, and he creates signs to bring to these places.
Well, what's...
40 years old.
That's normal.
And he wrote one. You know how John Cena's name, he goes, "You can't see me"? So we were walking around with a sign. You know, we went to Boston Pizza before. He had signs. It said, "You can't senile me." Senile, because it's so old.
Okay.
Anyways,
I mean,
the kids, I don't think really understood it, but at the end of the night, it turned out.
I'm gonna have a talk with Mike about that.
Turned out to be pretty. Oh, what's up? Hey, look at this. We got a super chat. I haven't watched wrestling in a while, but the thing is, my Stream Deck's not working. My kids, I mean, I think hopefully you can get back into it. I mean, I think it's an easy way to have a social thing with your kid, right? I mean, all right. Good morning. Happy Monday. I want to thank everyone as possible. I watch every day and you guys are great. Thank you so much. Lingering Catapult. Hopefully we can catapult our profits up. Took a swing with Intel on Friday. There we go. Now we're working. At 23.76 and woke up today green. Yeah, well, I mean, Intel gets that, again, more talk here about NVIDIA possibly being excited to
That's a big one. Because getting customers, actually big customers lined up for their foundry business, that is absolutely
up 6% right now.
Huge.
And then there's this one other guy. So I was up in Aurelia playing hockey. Oh, come on, what's this to do with that? Randy, if I start to peel that thing, that's going to...
He's giving us oranges because I'm going to Florida next week. See?
Is that why?
No, I have no idea. There's no bananas. That's why you're giving it orange.
It says Blue Jay on here, too. Maybe that's like...
Seriously?
Oh, you don't
I don't have the sticker.
Yeah, Blue Jays. It's Blue Jay. Maybe that's who.
That's legit.
Anyway, this guy was ice fishing. So pick up the mic, Randy. I want to ask you about ice fishing, man. How was that?
It was wintry.
Yeah, it was wintry. You got the videos there. Yeah, and it was
fishing in a blizzard the first day, and we caught fish. That's all that matters. It was so cold the next day. We went home early, but
How many beers you drink? That's the real question.
Only a couple.
None. You're not allowed to on the lake.
We were.
Aren't you though?
Just say none, Randy.
Oh yeah,
beer would be frozen.
You're not supposed to.
Yeah.
No, but I guess you guys could because you're not.
We still would be able to out, but it was
okay.
Just,
So then, yeah, you better say no.
Chillingly cold.
Yeah.
We just froze.
Yeah. How could you even?
Like yikes.
But then you were saying it was, it's always nice to get in that hot tub. I mean, there's some nice benefits.
And we had a fish fry and watched that.
Yeah.
Well, that's the good part of it right there.
Yep. It's good.
You can do that without.
The problem is the Leafs were on at 1 o'clock on Sunday,
we
but it was
finally beat
6-5.
Pittsburgh. It was the longest game ever.
I mean, it wasn't the longest game ever.
It was, yeah.
Went into overtime.
Yeah. Anyway.
Got to overtime basically with literally last second.
Yeah.
That was unbelievable.
Willie.
Let's go.
All right.
Coffee?
Yes.
We'll take.
Yes,
We're all about the coffee.
Immediately.
All about the coffee.
Did you watch the Oscars?
Absolutely not. The only thing I did this weekend.
Did anybody?
I did jack all this weekend except for we're rearranging my daughter's room to get the loft bed in, which it took a couple of days, but she was great helping.
Yeah, the loft bed is a great idea.
Our neighbors dragged us out on Saturday to curling. They go curling.
I saw that picture.
Now, I didn't curl. My wife did with everybody else.
It, by the way, probably your wife.
Oh, 100%. Everybody, there's a bunch of people.
You guys are going to be a curling family soon, my friend.
I think so. Because we have two neighbors, two doors down. They were there, and then 5 doors down, and all three of us.
The good thing about curling is just for social. You'll meet so many people.
You have beers after.
Yeah.
That's exactly the thing. Oh, one of the dudes from my men's league was there too, baseball.
Oh shit, it's Joe.
He gave up.
What's up, Joe? What's up, Joe? I like those gray pants, my guy. All right. We may have Michael Noss coming up soon.
Usually, it's a Monday.
So Neil's gone all next week. So what does that mean? Obi's in the building, or we're going to maybe
Obi
mix
in
it
the
up
building.
With Joe? We'll figure it out.
I'll be chilling. Hopefully it doesn't rain. There's supposed to be some rain, but whatever.
You can't predict that. Yeah, that'll be fine. Because there's a dome in Florida, right?
Spring training. Yeah, Joe was just curious where we're going.
I think the Jays have won a couple games so far, haven't they? I don't know.
Vladdy's hit some home runs.
Oh, has he?
I just love the weather.
He must be playing for a contract.
Oh, you think?
Athletes, man, this is too much. Okay, we'll go back to the desk, and we're working on some notes.
Just reading here, March 3rd is, I guess, the start of the countdown here to the TikTok deadline in the U.S. So there's a headline this morning on Reddit CEO So Reddit CEO rumored to now be involved in some way, shape, or form, whether it's financially or whether it's on a management side of things, in potentially this purchase agreement with this group that has been put together to possibly come up with the rights or the funding to buy the U.S. rights or the U.S. algorithm to TikTok. So I was looking at Reddit earlier this morning, was up on the morning nicely, 1.45 right now. It's coming off a little bit, but this thing got flush going back to Thursday. We came back to the bottom end of the range, but a nice bounce here. So our DDT, I mean, it's not going to really matter as far as the stock is concerned yet, but time is ticking here on this deal pretty quickly. Remember, it's 75 days they had from inauguration day to get some sort of a deal done with China.
Yeah, really interesting look here with Reddit. It's lost a third of its value, Brendo, since that high that we made early in the month, February 10th, into that 230 area. We dropped down, we defended that 155 area, so lost almost 33% since that time, running up quite aggressively after its IPO. As a result, obviously, of AI training and the information that it can give these large language models. But to go back to your point about TikTok, so many unanswered questions, I should say. Does it get sold with the algorithm? Does Xi Jinping need to kind of give the nod? Is that going to be part of the negotiations or the discussions that Donald Trump will have with President Xi when they meet soon? He already made that point very clear. 10% tariffs that just got slapped on last week, Brendo, probably don't help that very much, especially if you want to get your hands on that algorithm. It is nothing without the algorithm. And I will tell you something else, too. I'm on it a lot on the weekends, full disclosure. A lot is being discussed right now amongst people on TikTok about it being much more censored since the ban and then the reinstatement. It's a different platform, according to some people. No data to support that, just anecdotal. But yeah, there's something afoot, Brenda.
I wonder if it's a North America-based move from them to make things a little bit more vanilla. But yeah, it's Alexis Ohanian joining Frank McCormick. So Alexis Ohanian is Reddit co-founder, joining Frank McCormick's bid for TikTok as a strategic advisor. So still some time left here, guys, but the calendar definitely moving quickly here.
It is. I wonder why. Like Reddit's kind of, it's been chilling. You'd like to think that a stock that was as volatile as Reddit, or churning the way that it was to the upside until we basically had that top in Feb, you'd think it would be going a little bit more off the bottom here. Like, it's made a base. Okay, so step one done for Reddit here, 154. Now, if there was anything solid to this and we had real updates and you knew that there was a higher probability, I think the stock would be doing something today. But the only thing I'd watch on Reddit is it's shown you 4 days in a row, 4 days of the last 5, the same bottom at 155. But I'm like, yeah, like everything else is bouncing so nicely that I'd put in that category of the things that have had the biggest pullback. So yeah, it's a little bit disappointing here in Reddit. You'd think maybe you'd be breaking out the 66 or something along those lines. Like when I look at the stocks that have made these recent bottoms, like one of them that's interesting today is like Palantir looks a little bit more interesting, up 3.5 points. Just feel like you'll get more volatility out of something like this as opposed to Reddit. I think that would be a great combination for them, but that we can do the theoretical combinations with TikTok. We can spend half a day doing that, and it's just all be speculation at this point. It doesn't look like it's that interesting of a trade. A lot of places to look at today. Intel, iBit, Palantir, Tesla, NVIDIA is in play with the 125. So I don't know if Reddit's going to make the cut. But man, if they got them, it'd be big.
I was just going to say, like, we still have a long way to go here. Like, so if we lose this area, let's just... You know, we could talk about that it's come down, like maybe it should go back up, but like it just said if it doesn't, remember like a relatively new issue, right? This thing was only back not even a year. So thing is we could still fall in and try to find some more support. And we've seen the 200 period be support for many names. And that's down here at 105. It's also where this gap was on earnings. So I'm a little nervous here about all of this. So I would just like, if we lose that 155 area, I don't feel confident in anything until like this will start to come up, right? I mean, the more days we have, this will start to come up. So, 120, 130 area, I think as downside possibly for Reddit. I mean, it's always easy to look at stocks and be like, okay, you know, maybe we should go back up to the 50 period and this and that, but that's a dangerous one.
Very dangerous.
That is for sure.
And Reddit, don't forget, if we ever get this, maybe we'll eventually
Someone
get this
could buy
IPO
Reddit,
for Discord. I feel like
that might be some more competition. I don't know if Discord and Reddit are the same.
No, I just mean more along the lines of, a lot of times when you get an IPO in a related name, that can cause a temp top in... No, it's not, I hesitate to call it a...
I was going to say some money could come out of Reddit and into Discord until...
Yeah, you could see a little bit of that.
You get that kind of a little bit of a bump up there.
Not that we know when that's ever happening.
That'd be nice. That's the one that I want to get involved with. Man, now I'm really excited about this announcement for crypto here. This could be really fun.
Well, but it might not be crypto. You just said major investment announcement.
Well, that's why I said to Adair, because last week we got the largest investment ever into the United States with Apple, apparently $500 billion, but we don't really know exactly what that $500 billion is going to be entailing. So I was thinking maybe the announcement could be a description of that as well.
True. Actually, that's a good point.
You know.
That would still be cool, but it wouldn't be as...
But then wouldn't crypto tank then if it was nothing? Because people are getting juiced up and horned up over this.
Yeah, like if the 130 thing isn't crypto related, it might be a little bit of a pullback. I think you just have to be aware that at 130, something could change. If you're in a big upward trend,
or maybe you can finally buy that gold card. You can put that $5 million to work, and you can get a U.S. citizenship or whatever.
Oh yeah, the $5 million.
I wonder if people will start scalping those cards. It's like, you know, if they're only going to release 100 of them, so you pay $5 million, and then you can start selling it on the black market for like $6 million.
Everybody kind of does it. It's just they're upping the price for it all. That's all.
America's open for business. That's for sure. I mean, more Zelensky stuff too today. I don't know. It's going to be wild. Okay, let's go back over. Yeah, see, someone said crypto's on Friday. I don't know. It is on Friday. Yeah,
no,
that's
but this other announcement is probably not going to be crypto related.
Right.
Just said investment announcement. That's all. That's all he said today.
Okay. Right. So we'll hope out to see if there is anything crypto related today. But all right, let's go back over to the desk. We got Michael Noss.
Yeah, I was just reading both of these. The actual headline was Trump to make investment announcement on Monday. That was it. That was from the White House. And then Trump on Truth Social said, tomorrow night will be big. Hi, Michael Noss. I will tell it like it is. So we're gonna hear it like it is. He says today, and then tomorrow night as well. So who knows? He's the ultimate hype man. It's a brand new month. Michael Noss is very excited because we get to look at monthly charts this morning.
Yes.
And I was actually surprised. I mean, we talked a little bit about it on Friday. If you zoom out, even on the S&P 500, not a lot has happened here. I mean, it's still very, very, very strong if you zoom out to a monthly chart.
Yeah, and I think, you know, what you were talking about right there about a tweet came out and no one knows what it means, so everyone's trying to speculate on where to put your money in. I think that's a perfect reason to zoom out to monthly charts. Just because I know a lot of people watching this are day traders or like myself, shorter term swing traders, but it's really good to get kind of that clarity, you know, take a big deep breath and see where the market actually is, especially in times like this where, you know, everything was looking bad in the crypto space. And then one tweet comes out and I read somewhere it was like $350 billion added to the total crypto market cap in an hour or something. So it's good to take a step back and say, okay, what really has happened over the last few months? And like Brendan, you guys might be a little bit surprised. And with the first chart, especially, because this is just a zoomed out of kind of the S&P 500 going all the way back to 2022. So this is only 3 years of data, but I like this nice zoomed out look because it just kind of shows that regardless of all of the reasons to sell and yen carry trade blow-ups and, you know, tweets and tariffs and all this stuff, we've just been slowly marching higher. This doesn't look like an overextended crazy rally to me by any means. And we've only broken out of the high of before the bear market that I have there, that red candle, just a year or so ago, right? So just, you know, it's one of those, take a breath. I hear a lot of people say, oh, this market's overextended. It needs to cool off. And 20% up years is quite a bit. But when you look at this chart, you see there was a lot of pullbacks along the way that lasted 1 month to 3 months, you know, normal market behavior. And then the next chart is just zoomed in, same chart, just zoomed in over the last 3 or 4 months. And this is just to show, and this is those lines that I have at 610 and around 590 on the SPY. Those are the lines I've been showing you guys on a daily chart and on a weekly chart, just to show that we have done absolutely nothing. And then also, this is where I really think candlestick analysis comes into play, where I'm not one that I'm really big into all the fancy names or anything, but anytime you see both a topping tail and a bottoming tail on your candles, it just shows that there was a lot of indecision that took place in that month. So this is a good way to say the last 3 months anyway have been very indecisive. We're red one month and then green one month and then nothing happened the next month. So when you're trading day to day, these seem like insane moves, but they're a couple percent here or there in the market. And then again, this indecision is happening. Now, this indecision generally happens, and you see this happen when there's rotation under the hood, right? I'm still going to be pounding that table, don't worry. I feel like every time I'm on, I'm talking about rotation under the hood. But I think a good example here is we take a look at the Qs, which is the next chart, and that looked decidedly kind of worse here, right? We've now had 2 topping tails around this kind of 540 to 530 area on the Qs and a red close. Not dramatically red, but still a red close with some relative weakness in the Qs, just a nice proxy for tech. And that came from my next chart here, which is the SPY. And this is, the SMH. And this is the craziest monthly chart I have seen in a very long time. And the reason for it is just look at all of the tails, right? When we're doing candlestick analysis, we're basically just looking at the tails, right? A bottoming tail means that there was a sell-off and buyers came in. A topping tail means there was a rally and sellers came in just to close it flat. And we have now 5 months in a row, you could almost say 7 months of just this choppy action. Every time there's selling that happens, buyers come in. Every time there's buying that happens, sellers come in. So I think this is where the frustration for a lot of traders are actually coming in, is just this indecision action, that nothing has happened in the names they love so dear, like NVIDIA and AMD and all of these big semiconductor and AI related names. But if we want to contrast this with some other things, some names that I've already talked about, but I think are really important to look at from a monthly chart, the next one is financials. And this looks a lot better, right? The monthly chart broke out to new highs and closed at new highs. And I know it's not as interesting as AI and quantum computings and robotics and all of this, but a healthy market needs healthy banks and good financial companies. And the reason is because they loan money to these other companies. And if the banks are worried about the state of the economy, and they're not going to loan as much money to these more speculative companies that move around a lot more. So when you have banks hitting new all-time highs and breaking to new all-time highs, to me, that's a really good sign of a nice, healthy overall market. So the fact that we've got that breakout and that monthly close, that to me really wants to look under the hood and start looking for potentially some banks, some banks and some lenders to own, because they're going to be lending money to these companies that might be coming up with, again, quantum computing, robotics, whatever. Next chart and last chart here is the XLV. So this is healthcare. A lot of this action when I went through all the monthly charts, where you're getting a pullback to a important level, and you're getting a nice buyer from there, and then a nice breakout and a monthly closing high. So these aren't all-time highs for XLV. They're nice monthly closing highs. And that's why we want to kind of step back and we want to take a look at what actually happened this month. Where did the money flow into? So it looked like a little more of leaking from big cap tech and a little more of that being put into healthcare, financials, commodities. A lot of these names were holding really strong. So I don't know if this is a risk thing or if it's just so much of I've made so much money in semiconductors, I have to take that money and to put it into something else. But we're seeing this rotation. So that's why I want to kind of come in here with a little bit of a calming nature and just say, hey, step out, look at your monthly charts, see where we are in this range, and you can use that to tail your day trading, or for me, my swing trading. I look at it as long as we're in that overall tightening range in the S&P 500, I want to be looking for different names to get involved in. If we end up breaking out of that monthly range, then I can start being more aggressive and long and more the growthy fun stuff. But until then, banks and healthcare, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's the one thing that jumped off. I was just saying to Sharif there, the one thing that jumped off the chart there at me was at the bottom in the volume. If you look at the S&P and the NASDAQ, the volume basically non-existent, indicating essentially that there's not a lot of interest here versus those last two charts that you showed, almost increasing volume going into this bounce that we've seen. So really good monthly activity to do just to get some perspective and see where the interest lies in the overall market. Great stuff as always. Michael Noss back with us after the close tonight. We'll see you then.
I'll talk to you then.
Looking forward to that as always, Michael. I think when you see that on the sideways action of the SMH, it does tell you for us on a day-to-day basis, you got to pick whichever thing is moving. Like I know usually you get locked in as a trader, let's trade NVIDIA today. But if AMD is the one that's going,
right,
or today Intel's the one that has the catalyst, and then maybe you jump over to that. If overall you're getting sideways action in an indice or in the market, then you really, really, really have to be picking out stocks that are in play. And obviously you're going to always do that. I think it's more important. That's what I take away from looking at that SMH chart, from understanding when you get that what's that word, consolidation or accumulation area like that. You want to make sure you're in the right spot on a day-to-day basis, because you don't want to sit there if the stock's not moving all day and you're trying to make something happen. No point.
Yeah, it's interesting to have Michael on because he loves talking about those monthly charts.
Yeah.
So everyone has their own discipline. And that's the whole thing that I was going to say, is that's what it's about, is don't get lazy on it. Like if you're going to look at the monthly candles, then set aside a time, that weekend, go through all your studies, go through all your notes and find those opportunities and figure out what your time frame is. And I think you just gave some good looks. It was financials and healthcare. Right, so a couple picks to look out for. Maybe we'll check back in with him at the end of the month and see what XLF and XLV have been up to. But we have someone else that's up to something, and she's over there at the green screen.
Interesting upgrades and downgrades here to start off the week. Both sides of the aisle here providing lots of opportunities. Anheuser-Busch, which reported earnings last week, reporting here Deutsche Bank with an upgrade. Then we have Oracle getting upgrade by Monness, Crespi, and Hart. MongoDB with an upgrade here, also from Monness, Crespi, and Hart. And last but not least, Morgan Stanley upgrading Chipotle up about 2% right now. On the downgrade side of things, John Deere here getting a downgrade from Robert W. Baird. Deutsche Bank downgrading Dollar General. Southwest Airlines here with a downgrade and price target decrease from JP Morgan Chase. And Sempra getting downgraded by Jefferies Financial. So lots of names here to look at, guys.
Well,
I mean, tell you.
Go ahead. You want to do John Deere? Yeah, okay.
Well, I was gonna say, like, if you look at a few of those names, like Oracle has not been doing very well. And the other day, it was like there was a day last week where, one of the weaker days, and you looked up in Oracle chart. It's like, wow, Oracle really had been underperforming relative to the Nasdaq for a couple of days in a row. But it's Deere that's been step it up to ye old upside, and this has been a pretty strong stock. And we keep talking about, if it's a choppy market, look for the moves. Deere is like the reversion king on a daily chart. Like you can't do much about this on a day trade, taking these trend reversals, but like once, twice, it's in the verge of doing another one here. You can talk all you want about the 50-period moving average, but if a stock dips and doesn't get to it, that's even better. So it's been in a little bit of a pullback, and seems like it wants to regain some of those highs. It's just been a strong name. They kind of undercover. I say this about Caterpillar, but they're an undercover AI play. They're an undercover tech play as well, because one of the things, like automation is not going anywhere, and efficiencies, the efficiencies that you're able to get with their equipment from AI is understandable. So they're a big growth name as well. Bit of a premium because of that, but it's another reversion that looks like it's going to be happening. At least here, all it has to do is kind of breaking out the prior high, which would be like Thursday or Friday's high, and then you're good to go.
Yeah, I was going to talk a little bit about Caterpillar, but you just did there as well. So I think some of those names have been getting hit, and I think you could probably buy them up. I mean, you want to wait for things happening in China, of course. Let that settle down, as they're big purchasers of that equipment as well. There's Oracle again, Operation, Stargate. I mean, they got a nice bump up there. You can see this 200-period moving average. I said, great, now every chart we're going to look at is going to look like stocks are bouncing off this 200-period, and that's kind of what happened again there with Oracle. So I really like the 160 long. Like if you can come back into here, maybe it won't be today 160, but today could be 165. You had that little drop area there that was supported last week, 164, 164.80. So today you're up 1.35%, doubling what the market's doing. Got to like that stock, man. I think Oracle is going to be a good play. There it is, right back into the 200 period, right back into 165. It's just Friday's close. I mean, it could easily pull back in. So, hey, you want a name that has an upgrade with some hopefully longer term stories to it? I think Oracle down here is a good level. So, yeah, I mean, good call there. A bunch of good names on the upgrade and downgrade list in all kinds of sectors. So, yeah, I like Oracle there, up 1.35%. I don't know. I mean, I didn't really put too much cash to work at all last week. So, like we talked about buying some Bitcoin, but other than that, not too much else. I really am impressed with what Berkshire is doing. I just looked at my account now. We're up just about 12% or so on this name. And it's just, this is at all-time highs. Why? I believe because they're sitting on a whole bunch of cash, man. So there it goes to the upside. We'll wait to find out. And of course, you know, overweighted financials, insurance, and things like that, a little bit of energy. And so there goes Berkshire right now, finally starting to break a high side here. So, yeah, all right. Something about GameStop, new partnership being announced here was Zip. I don't know what exactly that is. Zip Recruiter? I don't know. But there's GameStop right here. We'll figure it out. Not doing much. All right, let's go back over the desk. We got the watch list to break down.
We're just trying to dig up any kind of time as far as what this event on Friday is going to entail at the White House. Couldn't come up with an actual start time. Worth noting, though, Kevin O'Leary on the show Friday as well.
Hey.
So we could get the two overlapping. So if any kind of headlines come through, it'd be interesting to get KO's opinion on.
Definitely.
I mean, he was so involved with this initial push to purchase TikTok. I think he's kind of backed off from that now, but we'll talk to him about that as well. But
definitely.
Let's have a look at the market here.
All right, guys, we closed out on Friday at 59.62. What a recovery. A decided breach of 5,900, actually dropping to 58.50. By the time all was said and done, we had recovered over 100 points off the low. We're above that level right now. 6,000 points is the overnight high. We'll have to see if we can get above 6,000. We're 59.85 now. So here's the deal. 59.50 as support, 6,000 as resistance. If we clear 6,000, we're looking to the previous day's high of 6,015 as resistance.
If you haven't done so yet, make sure you jump down to the description of this video right now. Top link in the description will get you to the sign up page for the watch list. It's absolutely free. Looks like that. Has everything on it you need to know. Every single morning comes right to your inbox before we come on at 8:30. It was about $14,000 worth of a Bitcoin move that came on this tweet over the weekend, essentially, which is just amazing to even say. But if you missed it, Trump comes out and says, let's get this done, essentially, what that's going to look like, the timeline, what it's going to entail to get a reserve, an actual Bitcoin reserve in the U.S. Completed. Remains to be seen. This event on Friday could give us some detail. Whatever is coming up this afternoon could give us some more details. So lots to come still, but day highs right now.
And $14,000 move on a Sunday, Brendo. So, yeah, making the case for 24-hour trading there. Let's talk about this, baby. President Donald Trump announced the creation of a strategic U.S. crypto reserve. It's going to include Bitcoin. It's going to have ETH. It's going to have Solana, Cardano, all the great names there. So we'll keep an eye out on that. As Brendo mentioned, it weaseled on up to about 95,000 before dipping below 80,000 on Friday. But what I want to know about is what this strategic Bitcoin reserve is going to be about. So there's a difference between a reserve and a stockpile. So Trump's support for a crypto reserve differs from previous discussions of a stockpile. So a reserve implies active purchasing, while a stockpile would involve retaining lawfully seized crypto assets without selling them. So we'll have to see how that all works out. But I'm all ears and eyes and everything else, Brendo. On Friday, it's going to be a big day.
Yeah, the timeline is kind of iffy at this point, but we'll see what happens today. And then again, he tweeted, or on Truth Social, something in regards to tomorrow is going to be big, where he will tell the truth again on some sort of announcement, and then this event on Friday. So lots to come.
Yeah, truth.
Well, that's sort of the thing. Like, look, today's announcement and tomorrow's whatever tomorrow night's going to be big, both those things could have nothing to do with crypto, and we could just be waiting till Friday. So we should probably get that out there. I think it's important. But overall, it's going to be an interesting one, I think, today, because a lot of people won't. Anytime you get a gap that big that happens, you're going to have a little bit of skepticism in terms of trusting it. And we know what this has done before when we had moves like this. But you do have some big prior support at the 92 area on BTC to play around with, for sure. And I think looking for any kind of a dip today in IBIT, like the 92 area, 91.5 to 92 is a place to look. I'm also going to like looking at VWAP today. I'm favoring longs on crypto. That's sort of the obvious point. If we're not failing at 98 or 99 where we turned around last time, I want to be looking for the long. But if you start losing like these, if you start losing the bid from the morning, of this pre-market low here at 52.5, or you lose to 92, I wouldn't want to be fighting this at all. I can only look at IBIT. I had a peek at Coinbase, at a peek at Mara, and just figured, hey, if there's a trade to be had, might as well just make it in Bitcoin. So like, but I think Sharif made a point about, this happened on a Sunday. Well, I mean, I think we're used to having big moves over the weekend. No questions asked. And I wouldn't be surprised if the next like ridiculous gap was after Friday and then on the weekend again. It does allow us to maybe trade inside of a bit of a prior range for this week, which wouldn't surprise me at all. Like we hung out here in the 90s to 99 for a while before that last drop. So I can see that just happening again.
Yeah, I mean, here comes another chart right now where last week I told you I bought at 87 and 86,000, and part of the reason is that we dripped right into, we didn't drip, we kind of like fell off a cliff a little bit, into the 200 period moving average, which is $83,000. Now, I mean, unfortunately, I don't have the bottom here of 84, let alone 78. But I think that was a decent little spot there. Look, everyone that's nervous about crypto, now at least there is an area where you can get out. I feel that, that little breakdown below there, if you can play that bottom wick. I mean, if you're going to buy it here and wait for that to break, maybe you're waiting for even 75 or 76,000. But I feel like this is going to be a good spot right now to think about support, right? And if the announcement doesn't come the way everyone's expecting it to, then you probably retest back down there. So I don't know if it's the right time to be jumping in there and buying crypto right now, but it's been pretty good. And we talked about some of the moves again that had happened. And maybe I can even do it right here on this chart. I was most impressed with, but again, I'm in. If I just type in 88, does that work better? That's the market cap. Yeah, Cardano versus US dollar. So right here. So I just wanted to so I'm in this name, but the thing is I was just noting it over the weekend when I saw this move that we had just came right back into past levels here with Cardano as well. So this was already been up here. Nice move back in, obviously, as the crypto winter. I don't know if it's upon us or not, but it's not normally this time. But there it comes back in, falling again right to the 200 period moving average. So there's another example where it's working everywhere. It's working on many different levels. I think Google's at the 200 period moving average. NASDAQ touched the 200 period moving average as well on the daily chart. Nowhere near that on Ripple, as that looks like it's going to be, and again, shout out to some of the traders that watch the show that I know, Nimit, et cetera, have some interest in Ripple. But yeah, nice move up to $3 again, and that's where it stops. So, I would just say, look out. We touched some key support levels on 200 period moving averages on many of these names, and now we're just kind of right back to levels that we're used to seeing. So I would be careful a little bit about it. Just heard in my ear that, of course, Mr. Alex Karp and company, I don't know how many billions of shares or dollars he has sold. Obviously, it's not shares, dollars that he's taken out already, but Palantir with a nice move up today, over 4% up. So still continues to work off of some of those $80 markers as well. So Palantir, a nice drip down into the 50 period and holding. So we'll have to watch out for this one. Lots of volume going through PLTR.
Intel back above 25, solidly holding. I had to check there because it was coming back in. Yeah, we did get back above it. Solidly holding here for Intel on this. Reuters reporting this morning that NVIDIA and Broadcom could possibly look at Intel's manufacturing for some of their products going forward. So instant dollar and change here to the upside on that.
Yeah, fantastic look here. You got to wonder whether this is kind of geopolitical being pushed in by the new administration, because Broadcom has already tested Intel's process out, much to its chagrin, didn't like it. They backed out of the deal, yet they're involved again. So let's talk about this. So as Breno mentioned, NVIDIA and Broadcom, the two big names here, are conducting manufacturing tests with Intel, signaling obviously potential confidence in its advanced production technology. This test could signal, or could lead, I should say, significant manufacturing contracts, obviously providing a revenue boost. Specifically, what's being looked at here is their 18A manufacturing process. That's what I was talking about before, where Broadcom had disappointing test results. Should also be noted that one of Intel's major competitors, AMD, also looking at this 18A to be able to manufacture some of their chips. So it could be a good move here for their foundry business.
No indication as to when we'll know anything, or when this could actually happen, but obviously positive here for Intel.
Yeah, exactly. Their foundry business is bleeding a lot of money. And, that's that's just the reality. And everyone talks about spin-off this or that, but I guess even better would be not needing to do that and actually getting some big customers online that you can be confident are going to contribute to revenue. I mean, and there's nobody any bigger than NVIDIA. There's no question it's a good headline. You still have all the timeline problems when it comes to this foundry ever making money. Like they said themselves not till like 26, maybe 27. So at the end of the day, you are still looking at a long-term play, but it's a stock that's been bottoming out. We've had a pullback. Everything is pulled back. So when I show you a few days of pullback and a consolidation and then a break of prior highs, a lot of charts are going to look like this. Still always going to be a favorite if you have a big-time resistance level, which we saw Thursday and Friday. For the afternoon top on Thursday, where that didn't tell me that big turnaround we had, it was 24.5. It did the same thing on Friday, 24.5. I mean, anything out in front of that on a dip, I'm going to like the 25 level. It's more like 24.8, which was just dipped into here. It gives another look. We've seen Intel gap up before, and I feel as if the last 3 or 4 times Intel has had a good gap up 5 to 10%, we've seen a dip at the open. So that's what I want to be ready for. The 24.5 is the obvious one that stands out. If we start losing 25, it's just a matter of being patient here. I think it's going to have volume, and I want to be looking for that long.
Yeah, look, I agree. I like the headline. I actually have both these names on the list today. I like 24.50 long for Intel. I'll show that in a minute. I like NVIDIA 126 break, just a level that I like with the happy face emoji. But at the end of the day, you can go over at Trader TV, Sean, go look at some of those sticky notes. They're going to be on Instagram in a minute. But here it is right now. I mean, if we drop back in, that's the 200 periods, 23.50, or 23.80. I think that's too low. I don't know if we get to $24 today. I mean, the market would have to come in a lot. Intel up 5%, so I could see a little bit of a pullback. So this is kind of that level right here. We topped out at 24.50 on Friday. I like that level. We'll see if we can sort of match it out there. Again, that was on Thursday right there actually as well at 1:30. Then topped out right off the open at 10.50 on Friday. And a little bit of a pullback into that support. So that's it, man. I'm not even trying to do anything too fancy. It's also, this was the 200 period I was looking for. It's also the 200 period on a 1-minute chart. But again, we'll get some more data, which is why you may want to use VWAP, which is all the way down to 25. So for me, just that's a little too close to start buying right now off of volume weighted average price there for NVIDIA, Intel. But I really do I like Intel today. And if it dips anywhere near that 200 period, I'm going to have to be a buyer there. All right, so NVIDIA. I think we all thought the report was pretty good. It's just, it fell down 9% that day. And we started the day up pretty huge, up to 135 off that report. It was relatively flat, right? I mean, you're up 3 or 4%. We're expecting 9%. Then all of a sudden, from that high, we went down that 9% or something like that, all the way down into 120. And then it got even nastier on day 2, down to 116. But at the end of the day, now we start to climb up a little bit higher. So I'm looking at, support around this 122, 123. But for me, a little more excited if we could take this level out right here, 126. So it was a level that I like. I said we would talk about it here on the show. I was responding to some tweets earlier today about what do we want to trade. And I was just thinking that this 126 is where we dropped off. So I'd like to see us take that and go. And I think we can get to 128. So I'm going to play the 126 break. Hopefully it doesn't happen right off the open. You still got $2 to go. So hopefully we can sort of grind in there and then let the futures help us push that through. And then we can go. And we'll probably play off VWAP. So yeah, NVIDIA. I'm not going to play any dips because I think it could get nasty if we're wrong. But we'll play a 126 break if it happens around 10 o'clock or so.
Take it and go.
Yeah.
Russell Peters. Let's go.
Tesla back to the upside here this morning, trying to hold 300 after a very ugly week. Randy was quick to point out this morning. I noticed that he's
quite happy.
He called the bottom.
Yeah.
Almost to the day, he said as well. But back
and
higher.
Price, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, guys, here's the deal. Morgan Stanley has reinstated Tesla as its top U.S. auto pick with a price target of $430. Should be mentioned that their bull case is $800, but currently you're just going to leave that $430. That implies a 50% upside. They view Tesla as shifting from the automotive company to an AI and a robotics leader. Optimus could be a major value driver. They go on to say, with the analysts estimating that if they capture just 1% of the U.S. labor market with these robots, it could add another $100 per share. They go on to talk about energy within Tesla. They say it could eventually surpass their auto division, talking about solar and storage capacities. And they say that the energy storage margins are projected to be roughly double those of Tesla Automotive, Brendo. So a lot of potential upside here.
Yeah, we were talking a lot about analyst opinions this morning. There's always so many. Here's the other side of the coin. This is a firm I've never even heard of, so take it for what it's worth. But yeah, it's down 23% so far this year. 354 billion wiped off since the calendar rolled over. And according to this firm, it's only going to get worse. So, I mean, it depends on what you want to read, I think, when it comes to Tesla, guys.
Boom. We were just looking at people asking me about Elimination Chamber and how much fun that was. I mean, these are just some pictures here. Were Travis Scott, John Cena. This is the funniest one. Look at this guy's face. He's like, this is right when he's about to turn. It was just so, I don't know if we're probably not allowed to show any live clips or anything like that, but what an amazing pay-per-view. Everyone was asking about it. It was quite awesome there, and there was some great matches as well. This was it. We'll go for a couple of seconds. Yeah, just there. The best part, I don't know if it was what, he looks at The Rock, and The Rock's like, that's it. The NFL, like, get him out, peace. And he goes like that, and he goes, here's the power, my guy. Boom! Swift kick in the, and then that was it, man. And the whole crowd was going insane. I mean, honestly, I haven't watched wrestling in years, but, you don't need to. Rock and Cena are both, I think, 70-something years old each. But at the end of, but at the end of the day, what a great, Trish Stratus was there, had a fight. Can you believe that? She's like 55.
Back from,
like 55 years old or something.
She's got to be in her 50s. She's in her 50s.
Yeah, and she had a good match. I don't know. Wow. It was just a lot of fun. There was 2 elimination chambers. Kevin Owens, people asking about how it was. It was amazing. The environment and everything was really great. 40,000 people in Rogers Center, so absolutely fantastic for a pay-per-view. So, all right. Look, I wrote down Tesla here. I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be a trade. Obviously, we always look at this name. It's coming in a little bit. Like, I wrote down 298. Like, long. So I said last week I would like to be short Tesla until we get above 300. So now we're above 300, so I'm switching it up. I mean, as an investment, I've recently bought this thing at 330, so we're still down 10%. But at the end of the day, I like the stock. I mean, Morgan Stanley caught that upgrade. The bottom, if we're going to do that normal stuff that we look at, maybe 294, 295, like into here where we topped out at. I think that is a very good possibility. When I wrote the note, we were up here like at 303, 304. So I do think that there is potential for this to come back in just even a little bit more than that. So yeah, like that's that 298, So I have a bid. So I'm bidding right now 297.50. I'd like to get long Tesla. I'd like to see where these imbalances are. I like the stock up here. I think it was hit obviously a little bit too aggressive there as we lost about 20-something% in a week or so, or a little bit more than that. 360 down to 280. That's pretty bad, right? So you're down about 24% or so. I don't know. I like the long right now. Let's see if the NASDAQ can hold. And Tesla, I think, will be a long today.
Yeah, it's so similar to the Palantir, not the Palantir chart, but in a lot of ways the Palantir move. Just simple fact that you bounce the major moving average, just a continuation play. If it took you so many days to get down here, like let it bounce. And I actually wrote, bounce 200 SMA, continuation, 298 area. And when I look back, like I still like that notion, but as Sean said, like if you're looking at the plan of action today for me on Intel, like that 24.5 is the premise is it's the prior resistance. Prior resistance is at 93.94. So if we do lose this 298 area, you're not waiting all that long until the next stop. So I think there's probably a couple of places to go here in Tesla. And one thing that I would say is on Friday, I had a couple of longs early on Tesla on Friday. And it was that dip into what ended up being around VWAP that was the real sort of miss. Because like the initial bounce here at like 280 was kind of okay. But then this dip into VWAP when it was clearly on the uptrend and holding the highs, that was a very rapid move where if you anchored it to getting in at VWAP there, it was a big miss. And it's more about being patient. If at that time at like 10 o'clock, it's doing a higher low, I just want to be ready for wherever the turn happens to be and not be so anchored into is it above or below VWAP? Because that was a missed opportunity by watching it break VWAP. By the time it was back above VWAP, like you'd already missed a good portion of the move, and I didn't want to chase it too far. So just a little bit more active with where that higher low on an uptrend is going to be instead of being anchored to just a line on a chart.
Okay. Sharif just saying forward sales out there, downside. I'm just reading a note here on Google, or YouTube specifically, but Google not really doing much on this. YouTube planning a new attempt at adding outside video services to its main app. Not sure what that means, but the Information reporting that right now for YouTube. Down 5 of 6 days for Alphabet going into today. Nice gap up, but back to about 172 here for Google. Let's talk about China specifically, but EVs more than the rest of the stocks. There's XPeng right now. We highlighted it early as deliveries come through, monthly deliveries first week or first couple of days here of the new month. So we'll get not only Chinese EV deliveries, we should get Tesla here in the next couple of days.
Yeah, and the one that's standing out to me right now, Brendo, is XPeng, because it's a big boy move here. 570% year-over-year increase in deliveries for the month of February. They delivered 30,453 cars. The Mona MO3 hatchback coupe played a big role in that 30,000, almost half. They sold about 15,000 units of the new Mona variant there, so that definitely helped the deliveries. Li Auto as well, not a bad look here, but they're definitely falling into second place with 26,263 deliveries. That's a 30% bump year over year, but a 12% decline from January deliveries. So you don't want to see that, even though seasonality does have something to do with it. NIO really falling off here, guys. Less than half of the vehicles delivered by XPeng, 13,192 vehicles in February by NIO, which is also a 62% year-over-year increase, but that's a 4.8% drop month over month. About 9,143 of those vehicles were the cheaper NIO brand Envo. So margins a little bit interesting there for NIO. Kind of probably explains the stock price.
I was reading an interesting article on the weekend about the Tesla Roadster and how it's still scheduled for 2026, or that was the last announcement or last talking point that we had on it, and BYD came out with their sports car or whatever it's called,
the one that jumps
at the end of last year, and everyone's suggesting that that's the reason that there's been such a delay with Tesla, because Elon wants to obviously be the leader as far as the sports car world in that sector goes.
Well, he's already planning on putting rockets on it, Brendo. I'm not kidding. He wants to put rockets on it to get that. Yes, to get that 0 to 100 in under 1 second. I think it's crazy.
We'll see. We'll see. 2050, maybe, guys, here for XPeng. It's holding on for dear life.
Well, if the best ones holding on for dear life, as Sharif said, they were the ones that reported the best, and that's of the 3 that are publicly traded here, right? Like this, let's remember Xiaomi. Is it Xiaomi with the phone company with
Xiaomi? Yeah,
Xiaomi. I always say
that's the right word. Yeah, XIO.
And then you've got the Geely as well as out there, and BYD obviously crushes things. I actually am more concerned with NIO. If one of the most exciting things that Michael Na saw was accumulation and sideways action in SMH. Well, what that could mean, because NIO slowed growth, then if people were buying this stock en masse at or not selling, I guess could be the other thing, at $4, and then recently around this $4.25 to $4.40, when it does a bunch of accumulation on a day where there might be more volume, or a week there might be a little more volume because of deliveries, just look for a bid down there. I think that's the patient trade. There's not enough going on. You're down 2.5 points here. So it's not like they gap down forever, but with NIO, you're just looking for an area from which to take a shot where if it hits a low at a price, you can give it a couple of cents and then get a bounce play. So when you look at this daily chart, I don't know if it happens today, but these prior lows here at 4.30 and at 25 and then at $4 this week on that disappointment and then being one of the worst out of the group, that's where I'd look for some kind of a bounce on NIO, because that's where the buyers were before. Otherwise, won't trade it.
I mean, look, I just think like we always get a little bit carried away with, always looking at U.S. names, right? So I mean, we don't have to do anything to show you this, but here's Tesla right here, going back to November of 24. That's the price that we're at, and you're going to look at a name like XPEV or something. November of 24, this name was $12. Now you're going out today at 20, and we got as high as 22. So no matter what we think about all these companies, man, price is not going to lie. And I just think that XPeng, if everyone's saying they like what they're doing the best, then I would say that stick here or or look at that NEO breakdown or breakout maybe as well. But yeah, XPEV right now down 4%. It might be a great opportunity to buy. I don't know if I like Chinese EVs. Yeah, I mean, with all the tariff, tomorrow's Tariff Tuesday, so we'll wait to figure out what happens there as well. But down to 1950, maybe a little bit of a gap fill. So I'd look with negative news today. Let's see if it sells off a little bit more. And I think you can look to get long maybe 1950 there and see if these moves are real and if they're right, you know? So yeah, you'll get a little bit of a confirmation down there. I would say wait another $1 before you step in. Today, FXI, just in general, is going to be weak. Again, as I just sort of mentioned there, Tariff Tuesday coming tomorrow. Actually, it's not as weak as I thought. I thought with some of these automotives, they'd be down a little bit more. FXI, of course, including Alibaba and all the top 100 names there in China. So, all right, we just got the imbalances we have just talked about Chipotle, but we had just got the imbalances now. BBAI, you know, Big Bear, we talked about trying to buy off the $5 mark, and we've done that. We bought at 6.5, 5, so average price in and around here right now. IBIT comes with a bid as well, so we'll look at that. I was talking about playing the VWAP, so that's going to be coming into play real soon. Intel gets hit with a sell rate off the open as well, so that move's coming back into $25. So we'll see if our 24.50 or 24.60 bid comes into play. And then Palantir with a little, I mean, I guess I could zoom in just a little bit here. So Palantir with a little bit of a bid. You can see right now taking out pre-market highs as we speak of 88.50. I don't know. I hesitate to even look up Ford, but okay.
It's not doing anything.
It's not doing anything. And then New Holdings was a increase or something on MSCI. So maybe you can wait for a little bit of a bump in that one, and that's been beat up. So yeah, man, welcome to the show. It's 12:50, 9:26 right now. What is it?
That was fast.
12. Oh, that's because that day went really quick. So hit the like, hit the subscribe, man. If you're new here, Neil and I positions will be popping up as we start to take them. We've got Adara on the desk. She's back today. So I hope, did you have a good day on Friday, by the way? Was it good?
Really good thing.
Okay, no, yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, she had a good day there on Friday. Probably be talking about that maybe a little bit later. I know she did some writing.
Oh, yeah.
She was telling me that plan was there. So, okay, 9:26. Let's go find out about Chipotle.
Yummy.
All right, CMG back to the upside this morning. There's not a lot of volume behind this, but 2% move right now. Morgan Stanley with an upgrade. If you zoom out, it's worth actually, taking time to zoom out and look at this is a daily chart. I mean, this thing's essentially going sideways since the CEO announcement, but Morgan Stanley catching maybe the dip here, saying it should be 55 plus.
Which is exactly what they're saying, actually, Brendo. So they're boosting it from equal weight to overweight, bumping that price target $5 from 65 to 70. Here's the deal. They like their potential leadership in automation, which could definitely help drive margins and control costs. They also like the balance sheet here. They say they have zero debt, this company, while holding about $750 million on their balance sheet. So they like the look of this one's Jib, Brendo, and they're giving it the upgrade.
Yeah, good level holding there, guys, on higher time frame for CMG.
Different from some of the other the tech names that we've been looking at, where you've had like a bounce literally end of last week and then a little continuation starting. This is already ongoing. The only concern I should say, I mean, it's respected the 50 period underneath it on this pullback recently, so it's kind of like it's closer to the other way, where that 57. In theory, you get up into the high 50s and you find some resistance there on Chipotle. A little too tight to that. Not a lot of relative volume either. I think it still trades a little bit pricey overall. But it's not an exciting trade for me. Like the stocks I like today are all the ones that are one or two days into their local bounce. Palantir, Tesla. Like those are the kind of things that I want to be more interested in. And obviously looking at crypto today. So yeah, I think you got to watch out for that 50-period moving average maybe this week on CMG. And then if you get the high 50s, it's been a good resistance zone to look for a trade later. But not today for me. It is getting into an interesting spot, but it's not there yet. So we'll stick with the names that we think will be a little spicier today.
I was going to say thanks to Ama in the chat there. And just talking about Ford, saying that looks like it may be breaking out as well. Yeah, I think you might be right. I mean, this 950 bottom, that looks pretty good to me. So, yeah, you could be breaking out off earnings last week or week and a half ago or so. So we'll wait to see if Ford can find a bottom, similar to Rivian and all those kind of names that have made this sort of whoosh down and maybe now are picking up a bottom. What I meant by it's not really doing anything was just the fact that Ford right here on the imbalance was the number one imbalance here. And although we get, looks like 2 pennies up, not the million is not really gonna is not really going to hit it, right? So it's not going to create anything too exciting there off the jump, but we'll wait. Okay, so I'm bidding right now. I'm bidding NVIDIA, yes, but no. I'm bidding Intel right here at 24 and change. The other bid I have in is Google. We didn't get to talk too much about that. I think at 16, 17 times earnings, Google is going to get bought up, and it probably happens right now today. So I'm bidding down here on Google at 170. Maybe we get some love there. I do have an IBIT bid at 52.75. This is probably the one that fills first, and just wanted to see if we can hold 52.50 off the open there. And with only 15 seconds left, that's it. And then we have NVIDIA looking for a break and Tesla 298. So
the other one is, we didn't really get into Palantir. We'll get to that right at the open, but let's ring it. It is Monday. It is the start of the week in 3, 2, and 1. Adara, ring that bell.
All right. Yeah, anybody that sold at the top, congratulations. Anyone that bought at the possible bottom, congratulations as well, because we are now in with this. All right, Intel, you are the first contestant to come down into the prices, right? And I don't know if this price is right or not, but Intel just dips real good right now, right into 24.50, a level that we like. So it just held. So let's get a little bit more. We're long at 65 here. That is exactly the level that we wrote down, 25.50. It goes right down to 25.50. Neil, exactly. So it's your number one trade idea. 24.50, sorry. Right into 24.50. Will it hold? I don't know, but it's into this area right now. So we'll sit here and watch it and see if we can do something. Nice little trade to start the day here. Up to 83s. We'll put an offer there on Intel and get out of 5%. So let's see if this one wants to work.
Yeah, I just took some out at 78, and we'll see if it gets to 25 even for another one. Palantir 85 prior high. We mentioned it a couple times, but not much of a dip as far as I'm concerned yet. It's holding on to VWAP. I'm favoring the longs here. If we never break the low, then we got to look over at VWAP in here. NVIDIA as well, making a dip. So NVIDIA is starting to come in. So this one you can be concerned with is giving you an opportunity to get down into prior lows. I thought 125 could be a breakout on NVIDIA. But if you don't actually go up, then you can't break out any levels.
No, you cannot.
See how that works.
Yeah, so we're into another position. We'll hit the sirens up here. I told you guys if you're watching for the first time, there'll be some trades happening. Okay, some more reloads there on Intel. I'm also in IBIT, by the way. So here goes IBIT. We're now in a 10-penny winner on IBIT as it fell into 52.50 or 52.75 where we told you guys we were bidding. So there it is. There it is. A nice move upside. Go, go, go. Oh, that's too bad. We were just offering 90s there on IBIT just to see if we got back up to VWAP. It looks like it did, but it got to 88. So hopefully crypto will get going a little bit here, IBIT. But we got reloaded on Intel. So this is going to be a position for me now to look at because we do have more shares. So a little bit of a reload here off of Intel. Looks like that wick bottom was 40s. We are a little bit underneath points of concern for me. So not yet, but if we do dip below that 40 level, then that's a little bit of a problem. I don't think it's worth holding it too far back into $24. So let's be patient with it.
Palantir 90.
Palantir 90, okay, great. So we'll look at that. But for right now, I'm not reloading this until 24s or so on Intel. Let's see if we can get it to work early.
Palantir it didn't quite get to 90, but it's pretty much going to get there. The other thing that just happened is Tesla just bounced off that 98. So looks like there is support at that prior level. Still holding the 300 level as well, but I want to test at the 298. You're starting to come back in here on a few names. Palantir, as I mentioned, you can pretty much stick a fork in 85. If it gets there, that's way too much of a move down. Got to start looking for some higher lows in Palantir. We're not going to get the dip like we did in Intel on Palantir. 88's VWAP, prior pre-market high, 88.5. Going to look for a curl on Palantir to see if we can't catch another higher low. I also reloaded in Intel. If it bounces to 75 again, I'm going to take some more out at that 75 level. As obviously when it goes down, VWAP's going to be a moving target that is heading lower currently on Intel. So that one looking okay. It's in the money right now. And Tesla, Tesla's still not doing too much.
Here we go. No, I haven't. That's one thing I didn't get long. Yeah, we are bidding Tesla. There goes IBIT, right, man? 20 cents, 20 plus cents now as we get some out at 53. So far, so good here on IBIT as we still have 2/3 of this trade. So that's going to be a nice one as well. Let me look at what's going on with Tesla as well right now because we're not in it. But whoa, why are we not in it? 297.55 is where we were bidding. It went to 297.78. So we'll miss Tesla. We'll miss Tesla by 20 cents, and it would have been $4 All right, well, that's fine. Again, we're on IBIT, we're on Intel. There's not much I can do there. I can't look at everything. But I did have the bid down there. That's too bad. That was a huge trade missed opportunity. All right, so NVIDIA trying to test the bottoms as well. Obviously, we're long on Intel, so I'm not sure we want to dance with this one too much. NVIDIA down 1.6%. The market with a nice downside move. Oh, I'm not mad. I'm not, it's not just like missed opportunity, because we literally, I'm bidding I told you before the show, 297.55. So that's right where we're bidding. It comes to 297.70. We could get it again. Let's wait to see. Right now, Intel's the one in trouble. So we'll not in trouble, but we'll manage this position and see what's going on. IBIT coming back a little bit. The market, nice move up. Let's see if we can get into something else right now. There's Apple.
There's some decent strength in the market, and some places not necessarily what you'd expect. AMD just broke out the high and was up 2 points there. So come on, drag some other chips up with you. Because NVIDIA is down 2% right now, and AMD is up 2%. Didn't expect that to happen. One more before we go to Adara here. You've got Apple absolutely, I don't have a pun for it. It's strong to the core, up 243 it looks like. I'm still looking at Palantir. I preferred long, but you got to notice the strength over here in Apple as well. Let's go over to Adara.
Keep an eye here on TGTX. This is TG Therapeutics. It's a name that's been mentioned on this after show before, not necessarily during the main show. Not a ton of volume right now. I'm seeing under 500,000 shares traded on the day, but it is on watch. An earnings day one move with an 18% short float. Inline EPS here and a sales beat. So TG Therapeutics, day one earnings name with an 18% short float, pushing to the upside off the open at day's highs and just pushing higher now, guys. At 9:45. We will get S&P manufacturing PMI, so stay tuned. I will give you guys that number. Back to you.
Yeah, like NVIDIA's just...
I wonder if it's Apple's going to be the one.
Yeah, like NVIDIA's still working to the downside here. Glad that we're not in it. So you forget about 125 breaking out or anything. You are starting to pull back into that big 120 level there on NVIDIA. Palantir might test VWAP here. Now remember, you still have a reversal off of the 90 level, so allow it to make some kind of a bottom. I think that's going to be important for me to be able to see. Don't want to rush into anything, but it's, if NVIDIA is going to be weak, I want to have some eyeballs on the strong stocks. And Apple really, really standing out here. Sorry, I should have zoomed out to tell you why I like Apple. 15-minute will show you pretty clearly. Prior highs for 2 days in a row, right at this 242 change or half area, looking very, very big. So it's a nice little local breakout on Apple. So dip buy into the prior high is the way to go. That's the standard play for today. And that gives you back into VWAP.
Oh, man, this Tesla trade is too much because, again, I don't know why we went down and we, went against what we had wrote. We didn't go against it. We were just too conservative with it. 290, it's the second trade of the day, man. 298 long on Tesla. I almost can't believe it because right now it's $6 in the money. That was the exact bottom, was 298 right there. So if I don't know why I'm obsessed with missing it by 15 cents when I wrote down the right level and just didn't trigger it in. So there's 298 right there as it was written. Right on the sticky note. The Intel long is giving you also 25 cents. So Intel long, Tesla long, NVIDIA 126, that's going the other way. We were just looking at that. And then IBIT back to VWAP is where we are at right now. So I'm, looking at that and I'm thinking to myself, hey man, we already took our shot. That is just too bad about Tesla. I'm a little disappointed there because we should have just stuck with what we wrote down. All right, so instead of going 50 cents lower, that was stupid of me. Again, Chef Joe, you kind of scared me there. You had 293 written down. That's okay. It's my responsibility to get that. But I was just looking right into here. If we break too much below, the level that I was actually looking at here for IBIT on a 5-minute chart was this 50-period moving average, which is right here at 52.30. Okay, so right here. So we just got long right now. I'm dropping this out too much lower than this. So IBIT and Bitcoin really coming in right now. We took a shot on it. I'm fine with it. We're not overly weighted in this by any stretch of the imagination. We're long at 40s. Here it goes. We're out if it breaks 20. I don't want to play this momentum too much lower. Bitcoin, there it is. Slap a fail on that one. As we tried the long on IBIT, we took some profit out. We lost on the last piece. Really a flat, well, we'll be down on it, but kind of like a 1 unit down kind of situation there as we waited. We waited for it to come into our 50-period moving average, and it broke. So there goes downside right now for that. Tesla comes in. Wow, Neil. I was just bitching about not having that price.
Right back.
Tesla just dropped $7.
Yeah,
right
a
there.
lot of things have dropped.
304. Yeah, I guess so. The market just came in. But that's a huge move down. Let's now test our theory, man. Like, are we here for this or not? The lookout for us to be wrong on Tesla was 295. So I want to give this at least $2 at this point.
Video's at 120, just very quickly.
Okay, go ahead if there's anything you're looking at, because I just in this Tesla right now.
Yeah, so first things first, we're back at the 24.5 on Intel. So if we can regain that level, then it's an add. If it can't, I got the stop just underneath 40 on Intel. But NVIDIA is right back into this 120 level. So if you're patient and you're waiting for a mean reversion, 120 was the level that I have on watch. So we'll get that one if it can get a little bit more of a tick and then reverse the trend.
Here we go.
Apple, which is super strong. It's still holding VWAP, but it's coming back into the prior high. So this is the other name. Only looking to buy these dips if we can hang on to them. Got to point out here, be careful. The top on the ES was just that 6,000 level that we turn around in pre-market, and we've just turned there again, right? So want to make sure that this trend is actually bouncing before I jump in. All about the trend reversion play here. On NVIDIA, if it gets to 120, we're already right there at 24.5 on on Intel, and then Apple was close to VWAP, but it hasn't gotten there just yet. So Apple looking very strong. It doesn't want VWAP. Support 24/7. The turn might be there on Apple.
All right, yeah, we're $1 in the money right now on Tesla, but let's just wait to see. I don't want to take that. I want to take 300. So if 300 comes up, that's the 200 period moving average. Let's get greedy a little bit here on Tesla because we could fall in. We're going to take a $2 worth of risk. So I don't necessarily want to take $1. Well, we could have taken out a piece for $1 there. And I'm, stamping this one, obviously responsible for not taking that piece out there. Here it comes falling into 296. I told you we're breaking out through 295 to the downside. I'm not going to go short, but that's like my area of put your hands up in the air and wave them like you just don't care. So we'll get out if it does break a little bit there. Let's put something out for $1 if it comes back up, because right now our average price being here at 70s. I don't know. Here we go. We're right back to flat on Tesla. What's up, Adara?
Couple small cap names to be aware of here. We have ENTO. No news on this one. Incredibly volatile. This is Entero Therapeutics, about a 3% short float. BTAI, though, does actually have a catalyst here. This is BioXcel Therapeutics. BTAI, it looks like it's currently halted. It's already halted before today as well. They announced that the FDA closed its site inspection for one of the company's trials for an Alzheimer's disease-related treatment. It is worth noting here, though, that BTAI actually received a voluntary action indicated rating from the FDA. So they're not going to investigate, but it's recommended that the company do something about whatever conditions were found there. So kind of mixed FDA note for BTAI, ENTO, also on watch. And in less than, about 3 minutes now, we will be getting that S&P manufacturing PMI number. Stay tuned. Back to you.
Wow.
Thank you there, Derek.
Tesla almost broke.
Sorry,
yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Intel just broke that prior low, so I didn't reload because it didn't actually hold and gain the 24.5 level again, and it's still in that downward trend, so we got out of it. Still, as long as we're holding this area, I don't mind a reversion, but we didn't reload it there. We only took the stop. Now, if we can break the trend,
do something.
I'm all for jumping right back in if you can break this downward trend. Apple also closed in on VWAP, so it took the long above, but it now broke it. It broke that low. Looks like it is now headed down into VWAP. The NASDAQ and the ES both, bleeding's not the right word, but both continuing to head downside. We haven't had too much of a bounce, and NVIDIA did just break the 120 and come back. So if we're looking for the reversion plays, those are the three that I have the eyeballs on right now. It's Intel, Apple, and NVIDIA, which has held 120 once, but as you can see, like the second it broke that 120 level, you're right back retesting it. Not a ton of strength in this market off the jump. So it didn't really have any short ideas that I was in love with today. So you're gonna have to be patient when you're looking for dip buys.
Yeah, you want the moo here, Ozan? You got the moo right now. Let's go get that going a little bit. We need a little bit here, don't we? We need a little bit of excitement here in this market, right? If you're long, that's for sure. The short's been pretty good so far. There it is. We'll take it about 70 cents or so on Tesla. We're long right now. 296.70 was our long. We just took some out there at 50s, so that's 70 cents there, and we can have 70 cents right now again on this trade. But let's see if it wants the market now. All right, I'm gonna take out 10% right here if we can get it at 297.30 again. The market just legged down there. I thought we could get going. I don't want to see, these lows coming into play here, right? So, man, like that wick 29.50, we need to hold that. 2,950. Not that it means anything for over here, just like I'd like to see some of this start to stop before. Okay, well, anyways, Tesla's gone back up, but at the end of the day, I'm a little nervous about this. We have manufacturing. Okay, we have manufacturing PMI. Okay, Neil, let's go. Right now we're $2 in the money right now, $2.50 in the money now on Tesla. We'll see if that wants to rock and continue to go that way as well. But here we go, Intel on the reload. Let's see what happens right now. We're trying to believe in that one as well. All right, $3 now plus on Tesla. So now we get excited, ladies and gentlemen. There's a big trade for you, Ozan. That's a face slapper. Thanks for the reminder on the moo cow there. Definitely created that one. It's Tesla. It's a $3 winner, man. We're back. We're here. We're not back. We don't go anywhere. But there it goes. It's a nice move up there for Tesla. Over $3 and change in the money. Believe in yourself. That's all I can tell everybody out there, because that's Sticky Note Nation, and it's strong, and it is hopefully going to be a good trade there on, well, it already is a good trade on Tesla. Get out if you want. We're going to wait for 300 touch and then upside. All right, numbers with Adara.
Our first round of economic data coming through right now here. S&P manufacturing PMI, only number we're expecting at 9:45. Forecast here of 51.6, previous print 51.6, and we get higher than expected S&P manufacturing PMI data, so 52.7 versus the forecast and previous print there of 51.6. Higher than expected, higher than in previous, and the NASDAQ continuing to kind of push to the downside, have these bottoming tail candles, and then push lower at 10 a.m. Stay tuned. Construction spending data and ISM manufacturing PMI data in about 15 minutes, so keep posted. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Adara. Intel just made another fresh low, so it's continuing to head down. First bounce good, second bounce not so much. We're still in a bit of a downward trend. You broke the first, but you haven't really broken the second, so it's still looking a little bit weak. Palantir, this is the other of the fourth of the names that we like. It just broke VWAP, but I said I didn't want to get too wrapped up on VWAP if a strong stock made a higher low. That's what Palantir is trying to do as we speak. So looking pretty good here on PLTR. It's now held 88.5. It's above 85 even, so I want to play only the strength here in PLTR. Let's hold that 89 level and see if we can get going on Palantir. I'm not giving up on Intel yet, but every time it makes a fresh low, I got to jump out of the stock and look for a tighter and better entry.
Oh, boy.
There. So nice little bounce here on PLTR. Let's see if we can get that bounce off 89 again.
Guys, real traders unite, man. We talk about that all the time. It's right here. Real traders stay late, but it's just traders stay late, man. Stay late with Neil and I every day on the market recap show. But there it is, man. It is now $1, 2, 3, 4, 5, $6. Neil, let's add another one just for fun. $7 now in the money off of our posted trade. Right there, Neil talks about believing in yourself. Look what we did. We believe in Intel, as that's the one that we've stuck with as well. So here we go, man. This is a monster day so far, as we have these two names, and they're both rocking right now. But we got to get something out of Intel. We're long right here at 61. If I can get a 56, a 57, actually, I just put it there. Let's take a little bit off the table here on Intel. We'll take out 5% just because we're back at this top. We've seen this bleed here a couple times. I am just like over the moon, obviously, with this trade on Tesla. I don't know what else that we can possibly do. We stick with our trade. We stick with the number one idea on the board here today. And now it is the P&L darling that we all hoped it would be. It's Tesla, and it's just ripping, Neil. $7 now in the money over here. Like that's going to be a good trade. It obviously is worrisome. I know we've taken some hits here. I haven't taken any hits on Intel yet, but we'll wait to see what winds up happening with Intel. So far, so good. The top two plays right here on the sticky note today are money makers so far. I mean, Intel 2450, right? We're at 24 set. We just got out at 2456. Tesla right there, 298 long, near the bottom for that play as well. So let's just wait on them. The market's done the opposite of what we had sort of thought, and we still have this kind of a morning. So let's be patient with it, see if we can continue to grow here as traders. And I think that if you guys are watching sort of the maturation of the trade ideas that I've been giving, I mean, I think it's been really a great process here, and I want to thank everybody for all the wicked comments and everything. And it's really changed my style here, and it's really resulted in hopefully some better trades and some better explanation and all of that stuff too. So, all right, another route right now on Tesla because, yeah, you know, the market does have that nice bounce up. We still have about 40% of this trade.
So very quickly, I didn't want to interrupt, obviously, in a great trade over there, but we did get Palantir breaking back through 89.5. It just ran into a lot of resistance here from 90 to 90 and a third. So that 50 cent, that initial 50 cent move there in Palantir, you've been seeing a lot of sellers in that range. It's just getting up into this from Thursday. We had 90 to like 90 and a half and a bit of a chop and churn in the opening range. So if it can clear that out, you got room to 91 next if you can take out that third. And then if it breaks 91, I mean, all bets are off. I think 92, 93, very much in play. But you are running into some selling here on PLTR. Got to be able to respect that. So for now, looking pretty strong. Want to respect it. Don't want to give up on what is a strong, relatively strong name today on PLTR. I'll get to Intel in a second, but I got to go over to IBIT as well because didn't think we'd necessarily see this fast. I thought IBIT might have been more of a breakout play, but you have 50.80 on IBIT. So check that, 50.80 to 50.90. That is the bottom of the gap fill if you go to last week. We get down to there, I'm looking for long reversions. If you're bullish on it and it doesn't break out, then I'm going to look for a long reversion over there on IBIT. Only about 70 cents away. So as much as we're falling, I think it's very possible we can get back into that level and get another opportunity, or get a first opportunity for myself, because I haven't traded it yet over in IBIT. I think we have a chance to get there. Intel still battling with the same prior high. So every time it tries to make a bounce on the trend, I'm taking the shot, giving it the prior bar low, out in front of VWAP, and if it can break VWAP and get a rounded bottom, want to hold on to some for said drain. So that's what we're ready for. I did look over at one potential short and probably missed it. So I'm just going to wait for VWAP on AMD. We talk about only liking AMD to the short side. AMD is above 100, but underneath VWAP. So I'm looking at this as a VWAP short if this market doesn't gain any strength. How many times have we seen AMD fail the top in the morning and then trend down the rest of the day? So this is now a new short idea that wasn't there before.
I'd hate to tap out of Intel. But I'm getting a little nervous here if we don't if we don't hold this 30 area, and then we stop ourselves out on that break, because it's now getting to be a little late in the day. It's not late in the day, but late in this trade idea for hoping that it rips back to the upside. The market's clearly not ripping anywhere. It's actually at lows right now. So the short has been the right trade for sure. And I'm just fighting it, trying to pick bottom. Remember, I'm not trying to pick this bottom. This was a level that we liked. It just came into the level that we liked of 24.50. So we're not like, oh my God, this is a new trade idea. I'm trying to catch a falling knife here. So 24.24 or so, I'm going to switch all my thought process here and just get out of Intel, then regroup on it if it does break. So I'll go over Tesla in a minute. We got some more out, but 24, I just want to get this order in. If we break the quarters, let's give it to like a 19 or so. We're just going to stop out of 100% of it. I don't even need to mess around. It will lose that 30 cents or whatever on this if it works, because we're definitely getting a top feel here at 24.60. So hopefully we can get up. My next offer is 24.70. Again, hopefully we can bust it, take something near VWAP, and then go. But it doesn't. The market right now is bleeding. All right, just the only other trade. Oh yeah, so we did have IBIT. We got in. Got some out there, tried it again and got out. So now IBIT completely bleeding down into 90,000. So that's going to be a trade to look at. As this was happening, of course, we got a lot out here near the highs of the day as we continue to watch out for Tesla. Then the break, we got some out at 299.80, then some more right there at 299.50. So now that we bleed back in, it's going to go again. It's going to go against us, I guess, if it comes down to 296. But at the end of the day, we're still using 295 as our out. So I'll try it one more time down here. But you can't. You throw away your profits. Like if you just keep on dip buying all the time, then you throw away your profits because you wind up having too many shares near the bottom. Then when the bottom breaks, right? So it's kind of like, let's try it one more time at 296 and then take that dollar hit, because we already know we can get 7 or 8. Just got to take it out at the top, and we did do that. So we have less than a third left of this trade, and looks like it might get even more nasty down here. So, all right, that's what I'm dealing with. And then I know you still have that, or maybe you're out of Palantir.
Out of Palantir.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, Palantir just lost VWAP. So the initial move on the upside, it was a quick one. Chased it. The sellers won at that 90 and a third level. So it really only ever gave you 50, 60 pennies on that move. Reload off of 89 even, and 89 couldn't hold. So we got it did bounce. It bounced by like 5 or 10 cents and then immediately took that level. So it wasn't VWAP. I said I didn't want to anchor to it. It tried to hold even. But look at that sucker. It's just, now we're really starting. Suck. Look at that stock. Now it's really starting to head to the low. Took the prior bar out here on Intel. It's still holding the range, but it's just not getting any real strong buying going into it. So far, really, it's only the Palantir, which came a little bit later, that was any good for me. And that initial bounce on Intel, I can forget about AMD at this point. Whether we're going to get this VWAP here, the market just made a huge drop, and this didn't do anything. So the range on AMD is pre-market low to 100. It's essentially 100 to 101. Oh, and there's a few other things. I know we didn't talk about. Well, I know we talked about the names maybe in general in the morning show. It wasn't Okta. Shoot, someone typed Okta in the chat, and that just threw me off.
Some of the.
It was IonQ and Rigetti. Those were the two. So IonQ and Rigetti, at least I know IonQ was super strong. This was a potential break. It just pulled back in as well. There was a nice reversion zone on this stock at 23.75. These are levels I didn't think would come in today, so I didn't even bother going into it. But this is the obvious big-time downtrend. It's been hunting for an update for a while. Didn't really think we'd revisit this buy zone down at 24 in IonQ, but it just broke 25. So like IBIT, suddenly you're at prices where a reversion play that I didn't think would be there because of the gap up is getting very close. Still $1 away, but just wanted to make sure everyone knows that one's on the radar. IBIT is still pulling back in, but trying to be patient, or Bitcoin, I should say. 90,000 is here, but it's 50.80, so just under 90,000 that I want to be able to give it to. And looking for that mean reversion long, which simply means any break of trend closing above, I'm going to take the long. So there's the loose trend line here on IBIT. I'm going to look for the bid. I mean, that's the thing. Like, I don't know why I didn't look at the AMD short today. I'll talk about that when things slow down a bit. That's just a missed opportunity. We've liked the AMD short every single day. I don't know why today I didn't think about it.
Yeah, we're going to, the market's falling down here. I want to try Palantir through 87 long, and so we're long right here at 87.50, and it's dripping down here, so we'll have to watch out for Palantir. We did obviously averaging into Intel, so our average price is right here, so this was the last chance. I mean, we talked about wanting to do this, so we did it. We're going to wait to see what happens with Intel here. Hopefully this is good news, but what's up with Dara?
I think it is worth noting here, I'm unsure when this is from, but I'm seeing this headline circulate right now on X. Apparently, Zelensky of Ukraine said that the end of the war with Russia is, quote, very, very far away. I'm saying this because we know that geopolitical tensions, specifically with Ukraine and Russia, have been on watch for the market as of late. So just to repeat, seeing this Associated Press headline suggesting that Zelensky thinks that the end of this Russia war is, quote, very, very far away. So more geopolitical tensions potentially on watch here. Back to you. We have the ISM manufacturing PMI, 3 minutes.
Okay, so that's going to definitely affect things there. All right, so, Google just, a new position here. Google just fell right into our lap as well at 170. We talked about wanting to get some long Google, but I don't think most of us, oh, by the way, just real quickly here, Intel did come up into 50s, so we did get some out there, but now it's looking like it wants to take out the bottom again. What a candle for Bitcoin's
89.5.
Bitcoin's tanking. But we're about to get out here if this breaks through 20s on Intel. So we kept on trying to catch bottoms here, which is fine. I mean, the damage, it's not much damage here today, but it's definitely not catching bids. So that Ukraine headline cannot be very good. We exited out of our Palantir there, and now we're going to wait to see if Intel holds, but it doesn't look like it is. We have to start flipping short. So that's going to have to happen immediately. We've been trying the long all morning. We get that negative headline. I don't think war is going to be good for anybody right here.
In theory, not that bad for Palantir. I hate saying it.
No, but it's the uncertainty of the market.
I know, uncertainty of the market, but you would think that's actually not bad for Palantir. But I get it. I hesitate to say that because I think defense stocks might actually like this.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, you don't want it to happen. So I've actually moved my IBIT chart to a 1 minute temporarily just because of the way that we're bleeding in this market and short the bottoms. My goodness. Okay, so again, going to make a reversion play in here. The short that I do like is AMD, which just lost 100. It could give us a nice setup on AMD off the bottom, which would be prior lows 100 on the 1 minute. And a kind of a pullback and a fail of the 100 level lets you short 100 instead of having to wait for VWAP or any kind of a trend. So AMD is the one short I'm looking at for an up-down fail of 100. And then right now I'll just be on IBIT for any kind of a trend reversal here. It's still pretty steep to the downside. The second it breaks trend in, give to prior bar low, is the play that we want. So there is me redrawing the trend line, hitting save. We close it above, you know the drill by now.
Yeah, I don't know if we're necessarily doing the right thing here or not, but we just went over to Google and bought that. So right now it's going to be a nice little win to the upside here. I mean, I wish we would have stuck with maybe our Palantir. That broke through 87 and we got out. Now it's right back up. But the thing is, it goes down to 86.50. So I think Palantir could be a break long through some of these levels. But again, we'd like to see the futures actually give us that sign that we want to do that. So, okay, so now Google's really starting to go. It's going to be a big trade here, hopefully. Again, we had a big trade in Tesla. It came back in on that one. We're still net positive on Tesla, by the way, obviously, as we talked about that. That bottom looks like 293. Chef Joe, that was the level that you had mentioned. So that's going to be a bull, I guess. Good call on that one, Chef. So we'll wait to see where that goes now, but that looks like a good one there. So right now, Tesla bottom, good call. Google right here is trying to go. I'm going to get out another piece here at 06s and just wind up seeing what winds up happening. We do have a number coming out, so because I'm long, it will probably be bad, but let's wait to see what happens now with this one as you roll the dice, holding positions into numbers. So Adair, it's almost 10 o'clock. We're about to get, is it confidence? Let's go over to the desk.
It's actually ISM manufacturing data, so we just got a higher than expected S&P manufacturing print. This ISM print comes in lower than expected, 50.3 versus 50.8 expected here for ISM manufacturing PMI. Prices paid above expectations, but ISM manufacturing employment and new orders index below estimates. Construction spending month over month also a little bit below estimates here, negative 0.2% versus negative 0.1%. So just to recap here, do have the market dropping a little bit more as we get weaker than expected ISM, PMI, and some of these other ISM numbers weaker than expected, as were the construction spending prints. Let's take a look here at Intel. INTC giving up a lot of this move. The same has been on watch, though, recently, as we know. And it is worth noting, Reuters reported this morning that NVIDIA and Broadcom are actually testing their manufacturing with INTC. Then we have this TSLA. Of course, Tesla is going to be on watch here, trying to bounce right now off of lows. TSLA is actually receiving a maintained $430 price target from Morgan Stanley, which is also reiterating the company as its top auto pick in the U.S. So keep an eye on all these tickers. Should be an exciting session once again. Back to you.
Oh boy. Okay, so we got actually a dream right there because dream turned to nightmare. Shout out to Meek Mill because we almost got all right, it fell right. We told you 169, so it just fell into our lap. And what I mean by dreams almost turned into nightmares, like if that breaks, then it's another L. And then I look back, you open my eyes about 30 seconds later and we're up $1. That would have sent your boy tilted for sure. But right now it's a nice little long there on Google and giddy up. Let's see if this name wants to battle back, man. We know that this is one of the best names PE wise right now out of the Mag 7. So that's why I flock to it. Here we go, man. A nice little dollar off that bottom now for Google. But let's just take some more out and see where we wind up going. So, yeah, good upside move there for Google. It really, really supported that play. Intel gets down to 24 and bounces. Okay, we did not take advantage of that. We went over to Google instead. But Intel, again, good little bounce area down there.
Great bounce, actually.
Yeah, great bounce off $24. So, and then right now, crypto getting hit a little bit on that downside. That was a bad number. Hold on a second. I just wanted to see. You mentioned what other cryptos were going on. So let me just quickly
I didn't look.
Check here. No, neither did I. So I'm just going to check out because we do have Ripple. Let me just call this up to a 1 minute chart to see what was happening there. So yeah, big move down for them today. I mean, not huge. Cardano as well. Let's have a quick look at them down into 94.95. So a nice little drip there as some of these names were the ones that were mentioned in the crypto reserve tweet by President Trump. So yeah, Bitcoin down there to 89.6.
It did make that, so right on that number, you got a flush, break a low on just about everything, and then we reclaimed the trend of the upside. So I did punch long into Bitcoin, into IBIT. It then got up to 51.2. It's holding the higher bar low, but as soon as you get up, you're coming right back into that prior support level. So let's see if we can hold on to, it's about 50.80 on IBIT. That's underneath 90,000. That's one thing worth mentioning. Here at that 51 to 51.2, that's going to be 90,000 that we're dealing with. So as long as it can hold the range, I want to be long just underneath and trying to hold to some of those tops. As Sean mentioned, well, everything did the turn at the same time, so you sort of pick what you pick. Yeah. But that was a heck of a bottom and tail candle on Intel. and I was looking for the IBIT move. It was a better bottom on this than it was on IBIT because it was clean at 24 even. It's exactly $24 is that wick bottom. You're not often going to see an opportunity like that. But anyways, it doesn't matter. It's still higher lows. As long as we hold 24, I'll look for this higher low to try to hold on to. In this market bounce, it could provide the opportunity for the one thing that I was looking short, but I have to wait for it because that's a big bottom wick. Bottoming tail candle like that, I wouldn't want to short the first move. I'd wait for it to get higher to VWAP. So this market bounce could give us a chance at VWAP on AMD. But I'm looking for a chance to get long Intel 24 if it comes there again. Looking for IBIT on a reload in front of 5080. But now we're holding the $90,000 level here on BTC. Outside of that, I mean, the other stock that I'm kind of watching here is Palantir. It's still trying to make a rounded bottom. The long here could look good again. There's your bottoming tail wick, like breaking out that high on Palantir. I'm still only looking long on Palantir because it's above 85. That was my rule. If it's above 85, I'm willing to still look for the longs on Palantir.
All right, yeah, I mean, I like this Palantir at 87 is going to be interesting to me. I just don't know if the futures are going to go or not, because if they do, we have Google with a very great position and good amount.
I just had deja vu.
For what? Big Bear AI, $5. Deja vu on what? Palantir?
No, like Palantir. I think I had a dream about Palantir.
I've been having many dreams
dipping
about
and
that
ripping
stuff
on the weekend or something.
Yeah.
I just had some serious deja vu just now. Anyways, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah,
Palantir moves so much that it's like, whatever. I probably traded this price before. That's all.
We've been having dreams about Palantir for a very, very long time. So we'll, good call there on Tesla bottom again. Oh, I just had Big Bear up. So hold on a second. This is what I want to talk about. I'm going to put a bid. I did already. I'm going to bid 10s and I'm going to bid O's. So Big Bear came into $5. We had talked about, liking these levels down there. I missed it. Again, this is a small cap name that I like. I know Palantir is getting hit. Some of these AI names are coming back. It's not the most sexiest play right now, especially on a daily chart. But bouncing off these levels, I missed that $5 drips. We should have been in that. Again, mistaken opportunity or missed opportunity there. It's okay. So we'll wait and we'll see if there's any other plays, but I do like that one for sure. Another one, we didn't really look at NVIDIA too much here today. This is really getting hit, really badly. 5%. So, wow, okay. We're now starting to get back up to the upside on Google. I'm taking another piece out here at 99s. Down 5% today. So nasty. I mean, everyone that was rejoicing NVIDIA to get back up to the upside, that's why I wrote down 126, right, on today's sticky note. Was just because I didn't necessarily know of any levels on the downside. Remember, I told you I wasn't bidding this name. I wanted to see a breakout to get confirmation. It does not break 126. So we don't have anything like that. So nothing really to worry about right now, but still a nice downside move happening right in front of us here on NVIDIA. So pick it up. I'm looking at 118, I think should be a safe level, as just on the daily chart, you're right back into here into 118. So I'll fix that as our scaling is off. But 118 for that, 117. That very bottom last week, if you're really looking, was 116.50. So yeah, I think 118 maybe to start a position, but be ready to maybe test that bottom of 117 again. So yeah, it's not looking the greatest for today for sure for NVIDIA, but there's a little bit of a bounce off 119. We're really excited for Google. So let's see if this one can get back into the 171 area.
171.
I mean,
it's the market's actually looking pretty good here, relatively speaking. On a 15-minute chart here on the NASDAQ, that's a pretty hefty bottoming tail. And look where liquidity came back in. If you remember on Friday, there was a huge bounce at the end of the day in everything that was tech-related and all the big names. So the NASDAQ had this. It just came right back into that support that we had the rally from. So sometimes that's where you can forget about big support levels. It can just be where crazy moves start. Could be the place to dip by. So if you got a long in here, I think you're going to like it, especially if it's in tech. Palantir just made the higher low off of 87. I didn't really get that fill, so we just cancel if it comes on the way back down.
It might go 88.
Made the higher low. I tried to get it as it came back through 87, didn't catch it. So we'll look to see if we can weasel our way in if it dips back down and holds this prior higher low. A nice rounded bottom here in Palantir with a bottoming tail candle. I just don't want to buy the top of the move. I'd like to get it closer to that 87. Still in IBIT. I keep wanting to say Bitcoin. Still in IBIT. We did get the reload off 50.90. And then again, it got right to 90,000, pulled back, wicked it a couple times, so scalps them out. Your lower high about to get put in here on IBIT. So I'm liking Palantir a little bit more than this play because, well, Palantir is making higher highs and higher lows locally since that bottom we just had. Whereas Bitcoin, you're still looking a little heavy. This is just looking a little bit better off the low, higher highs, higher lows. I'd rather play this trend.
I was going to talk about Palantir. I'm going to take Palantir long 88, but I'm not going to talk about it right now because Neil was just on it, so let's give it a little bit of a breather. All right, so SMR, new scale tonight. Yeah, so they were supposed to be last Thursday. They changed their report to today. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I think the market really liked that idea earlier when it went up to 18, but now SMR just does not catch a bid over the last 2 weeks. Again, you know, it's new scale, and this is another name right here that may look juicy at the 200 period moving average. So again, another name that I'm involved in, new scale, and I don't, it's not looking great. We're only long down here like $11, $12 on this break. So it didn't take advantage of that all the way up to $30. That was silly, obviously. And now you come right back into 12, 13 again would be another area to potentially look to go long. But yeah, you're bouncing not nicely right now off of those levels.
I just looked at that on the daily.
That is the daily.
Oh, sorry, you were looking at the daily too. No, I don't have, I have 13 on that thing. I think I bought, I think it was like the, whatever, it doesn't really matter. But if it loses that 200 period, I might consider whether I should take some of that out and look elsewhere. So Palantir doesn't hold that little trend that we were just talking about. Ideally, these little higher lows that made us like the long in the first place would have held, but it just broke back down. So no long for me until we can get back above or give me some kind of an entry that we like. That leads me back over to Intel, which is holding its bottom at 21.4, 24.1, and putting in a higher low at 24.2. So this one, at least from the low, that wick bottom is holding some decent higher lows here on Intel. We'll see if we can get in this 24.20. IBIT's holding out, so that's good. It's still above 90,000, but we're not breaking away from it. Already scalped them out. And just going to hold on to the last little piece. I'm going to try and get on trend here with Intel. Back in somewhat of an upward move here. But the futures, they're not that strong. Let's put it that way. We're bouncing, but this isn't like an overwhelming bounce that we're seeing in the futures just yet. So we get 24.25 if we can on Intel. And then trend is just from the bottom wick to the higher low on the 3 minute.
I hate to be wrong on that Intel and take an L, but okay, there it is right now. Yes, sir, there it is. Now we have a Dollar Club member again for Google. So there goes Google. Nice move to the upside, man. This is getting us right back to where we need to be today. The Intel was my mistake. Well, not my mistake. We got out there. It does wick to 24. So, all right, we're going to get long into Palantir on an 88 break. It just touched 87 again. So, you know, you got to give this one $1, I'd say. That bottom is 86.80 change right there. I mean, that would be a good bid, but we didn't get long there? No, okay, it didn't. Okay, so our system does not have an 88 break, but it looks like it didn't. Yeah, it's imminent, so that probably breaks right there at any time. So I'll try the long. I mean, I think we could also put a bid down here now, 86. What is that? Let's just go 87 and change, just in case we do like get that move down. I don't mind trying a small dip by long to see if these levels hold. But it was more the momentum break long that I liked, which apparently is wrong. So it just rejected off of that 88 level again, but we'll try it. If it does break it, I do want to go long there for sure. Well, here it goes. So it's going to break. So when it does break, where did we just retrace back into there just to see? Because we might just use that last local bottom right here, maybe even as our out. 87, yeah, I mean, that's pretty aggressive. That's a good out. 87.50, if we really got excited about it, that's 87.60s. Yeah, I think 87.50, like 50 cents worth of risk. to try to get us about $1.50 there to the 200. Or to the 50, sorry. I think that's a decent spot for us. So, all right. And it's just like what we're doing here, right? Our long rate here at 169.40, our out is 169. So the fact that we're in a 2-to-1 R to R, it gets us out right there, which is why we celebrated that, because that was a good level for us right there, able to get it out. Adara is super busy over there, but I do want to task her with one thing quickly, because not for now, not for, whenever, but like, I must be missing a story on NVIDIA today, because down 5% when I really wasn't that negative on this play.
Whoa, what's something just happened on Intel?
Okay, so let's go.
Volume huge on Intel right now to the downside
okay,
here. I don't know what that story might be, but trust me, I can tell, because I was in at 26 and was out at 18s instantly. So Intel, big volume spike to the downside. Let's go to the desk.
Let's go to Adara, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything here on Intel as of yet. With regards to NVIDIA, Sean, there were no stories. I just checked again, nothing new. But except for, it was in the watch list, basically. NVIDIA getting a bit of commentary from Ming-Chi Kuo, but it seemed to be positive, basically suggesting that the company would not be canceling some of these wafer orders as previously rumored. So nothing on NVIDIA to explain that drop. I'm not seeing anything on Intel yet, though I am keeping my eyes peeled. But the reason I wanted to talk here is IBIT on watch here, basically, or crypto on watch in general. We know we've had Robinhood and Coinbase both saying the SEC has dropped their lawsuits against the companies. Kraken now saying SEC is dropping their lawsuit against them. Also, I just got the Intel news here coming through. So Wall Street Journal reporting that Donald Trump and TSM are expected to announce a $100 billion investment in the U.S. So that investment is expected to come here from TSMC, or at least be related to TSMC. Donald Trump and TSMC announcing this. Wall Street Journal reporting this now. Back to you.
Well, so we took advantage a little bit there of Intel. It's right back down into where we're long. We're long at 24, but it did go up to 24.20s. So that was 1-to-1. We're going to get out at that bottom of a break of 80 there on that spike news. This sounds like it's good news for Intel, but you never know, man. A lot of that was baked in. I feel like maybe on the open, we came in with the stock up 5%. It's now flat. So I don't want to sit here and try to guess about it. We're just going to play technicals. If it breaks that bottom, fine. This will be a 1-to-1 trade for me. We already took some out, so even if it drops below, we'll be fine. Just trying to make a winner, right? And so obviously, if that happens, that happens. All right, Palantir. Thank you, Randy. I'll thank you in a second. But there it goes. There's a nice little take up for Palantir. Props that one up, man. We talked about if Palantir came into 87 and change, that we wanted to take that. Thank you, Randy. Cheers for that. So here it comes. It's a nice win for us right now on PLTR. So there it goes, right back up to the upside now. Long at 87.15, 55 cents in the money now on Palantir. And then Intel, man, let's just rock with it. I'm long. We have that base. We've already taken out half of this position. It's a news pending play. So we'll wait for it to break the bottom or just continue to go up to the top once this information is finally analyzed. So Palantir with a good little retracement back, though. If this market drops, though, Palantir will be dead man walking. So we'll take another piece out here at 50s and then wait to see what happens.
Yeah, we just got, you saw Bitcoin just got through on Strong Screen. You probably just saw it break 90,000. So
okay.
We held that 50-80 level a couple of times, just trailed out there when we lost this local trend line that it put in. Now, remember, this is a stock this has been trending down. It's not a stock, ETF. Been trending down all morning, so it's not much of a bounce. If all you can get is 30, 40 cent bounce on this, then I'll take it. We've been trending down. TSM, by the way, on that news, breaking lows. So TSM is just, I don't know what to tell you. It's not bouncing on that headline at all. If anything, it's just continuing to get weaker.
That's the funny thing about it.
That's sort of the weird.
Stocks aren't going up.
No, it's not going up, and it briefly went up and then immediately flushed. So you're not getting a lot of strength there, which leads me to believe that drop in Intel might have been a little bit bogus, but I was just in it. That's the only reason I knew there was something going on, because I was in and out because it stopped my stop order. Thank goodness we had a stop. Triggered almost instantly there. So I'm only looking at IBIT and AMD and Intel and PLTR, which isn't at a level I like, but AMD back underneath $100. So if it's going to hold, I keep wanting VWAP, but if it's going to hold under Friday's afternoon high, then I guess that's the play to work off of. But for now, going to look for a re-entry into Bitcoin, a re-entry into Intel as well off of that low. So I think it was just a shakeout.
Yeah, I would agree. I'm getting more out of Intel. Google looks like we've topped out here at 170.50. So I took another out there at 170.20. It just came a couple times, actually, just came up right there. Actually, we might have got a better fill on that one. We got a 24 and an 18. Yeah, so right, I thought we might have got better, but we didn't. Okay, so that's that. Palantir, man, I mean, it just went up. We're out of half of this trade. If it breaks through 87, I just got to make sure I actually don't even have a stop out there. I'm going to have to manually stop this thing out because I have a top take if we take out 88. So unfortunately in our system, if you have multiple stops, they won't trigger. You can only get one stop unless you use bracket orders, but that's maybe something for another day. But right now, we're going to continue to go. So, all right, man, Intel, yes, sir.
Another one.
Hello? Oh, okay. After, Kathy, after. Come on, man. Thing is, she keeps, I'm happy where I am, Kathy. I mean, come on. All right, so here we go. Nice little upside move anyways there for Intel. Let's ring the register, man. I mean, our stop on Intel is 20 cents lower of where we're in. We're going to get out if it breaks 80, so we're in at O's. So there's 20 cents right now. So a little bit of a retake back to the upside on Intel, giving us a little bit of room to breathe right now. So we'll take that and watch what happens. Again, a break back. Okay, here we go. A break below 87 right now. We're going to give it just we'll count to like 2 or 3 and then stop out if it breaks. As it looks like Palantir right now, not going to be the one for me. We'll wait on Palantir for now, but 87 break and we're out. But so far, so good on it.
For sure there.
You know, we'll see.
Man, NVIDIA just can't get out of its own way right now. So I keep looking on up at NVIDIA because
I gotta put this
when you're looking for like a reversion or a stock to hold lows, like I'm looking over at Palantir, obviously Intel might not get back down to that 24. We'll have to wait and see. And I looked over at NVIDIA. We're getting very close to Friday's bottom. So again, this is just another stock which, when we've seen it make lows like this at the open, there's been usually a good VWAP bounce. I'm going back into Thursday and showing you guys that one here at 118 now. If it gets down to 16 or 16.5, that's where we're going to have to look over on NVIDIA. You're on Intel right now.
Yeah.
IBIT, which we're fortunate enough to get the good bounce zone, it's still holding a higher low right at that 90,000 level. So it's still looking pretty solid. Obviously not as strong as I'd like it to be. I would have liked that pop to have worked a lot faster. But now you've got another trend which is starting to form here that we can work off of. So that little bottoming tail, there's the higher low. If we can close it out above, I just want to join the trend and see if this can't get all the way to VWAP. We got $1 to VWAP on IBIT, but remember, right here is 90,000. So if it breaks local bottoms, 90,000 is kind of a significant level here on Bitcoin. Still looking at IBT. If there's anything that I know we're not looking at and we're sticking to the stocks that we've been focused this morning on primarily, just let us know in the chat. For sure. I see a lot of NVIDIA in there.
Yeah,
I see a bunch of Apple. I haven't seen people talking about many small cappers, to be honest with you. So I don't know if there's any that are flying around. Might be in the right spot here. I saw Amazon bounce from Adam there. So I'm just going to get my stop order in because having a stop saved me on that Intel move, that's for sure. And we'll maybe look at some other names once we get locked and loaded. Oh, AMD's almost at VWAP. All right, AMD has a chance to be the first short of the day for me. After all of this,
that's good, man. I mean, if you pick a stock that you like short right now, I think is not.
There might be something better though.
I mean, I'm long everything.
There might be something.
Maybe I'm a little biased on that one, but for right now, I mean, Intel is making that play. It's a little bit of a face slapper there off the bottom. Again, I liked the story there, and it just came into a level. So, as Neil said, never a good idea to not have stop orders out because, you know, if that story's the other way, then, you know, you get hit. But we sat there, we waited for it, we let it bounce back in. We didn't wait that long. It came to 24. We had our out targeted. It made that bounce. We actually bought it after the bounce, so it's not that we went in there blind. But right now, it's a big day here for Intel. It's a huge day for Google, man. Google's now trying to break higher, and then here goes Palantir. Man, we're almost $1 in the money on Palantir right now, trying to break through $88. We're long 87.15 now on PLTR. Here we go. I'm taking the long through 88. What's up, Adara?
Take a look here at the IWM trying to bounce, much like the rest of the market, making a bit of a bottom as of Friday, trying to push higher and then giving up a lot of that move at the open. Right now, hanging out just above 214. A couple of small caps to talk about. This first one is not necessarily a small cap per se. It's got about $11 billion market cap. This is HST, Host Hotels. No news on this. They reported earnings a couple weeks ago and they have a 6% short foot. Then we have TRNR. This is Interactive Strength. This one is a repeat runner. Announced here this morning, apparently they've received a repeat 6-figure order for one of their products from a German distributor. They also have about a 600,000 share float, about 10% of which is sold short. Another notable short float here for TGTX. This is TG Therapeutics. Near day's highs, 18% short float for this name. They did report earnings this morning, so day one earnings play for TGTX. Make sure to like and subscribe. Back to you.
Thank you so much there, Adara. Oh, I might have missed Apple, but Bitcoin just made a nice move, breaking back toward 91,000. We just hit 90,800. Which is right in here. It was like the first bounce all morning was actually off 51.6, and that was at this 91 area. So
Google.
VWAP starting to come in.
Yeah.
52, the last line of resistance, I think is going to be it for IBIT. That's where we're looking for the play. Apple, I just tried to grab Apple on the, wow. Okay, so look, that's the move on Apple. It just broke trend, went to punch when it broke the prior bar low, and you're already headed higher. So thankfully, we were able to get into that Bitcoin move. NVIDIA's back at 120. I'm not going to stand in front of this to go short on AMD. That's I've changed my mind on that one. The way that last move just happened upside, you got to do a little something different than just pop into VWAP to want to short that name. So we'll be a little more patient with it. Except the 50-cent move on IBIT, but it's more about that $52 level that we're now focused on. Yeah, man, good longs over there for sure. And oh boy, man, we just got lit up. Google, man, thank you for everybody in the chat saying there goes Google. Yeah, nice move up, man. We went $1.30 to the upside straight up there. We'll get some more out at the 50 period as that's a runner today, man. Good day today as we'll be green there on the day. Palantir, obviously, let's go, man. We talked about that one. That did go into the gates of hell, but then Alex Karp rose from the graveyard and bought that stock back up. And I don't know if he did or not, but probably this one did. Nice move downside right there for Palantir, and we took advantage of that move, man. We not only did we call that bottom there, we were like, we're going to bid 87 in case it does fall back in. Our out was 86.80, so right there, that's about a 5-to-1 right now on that play. And then we also hopefully show that, you know, all different styles are able to make money. There's the breakout trade of 88 up to 88.50. We said that we could get that 50-cent move, so we do take a lot out on that upside. We only hold 50% left of our punch, so that's why my average price right now is 88.01. So what I mean by that, by punching there, I'm going to get some out now at 30s as it rips back, is that's removing liquidity, getting aggressive. Classify this as a breakout trade, right? So that breakout trade right now obviously working out for us, but I don't want it to lose too much steam back into the end of this trade. So we're going to get out right now. We talked about 87.50. The highest we got was 88.50. So the reason why we're still positive being able to trade a little bit more shares size-wise is because, again, we talked about having the stops. So I'm going to cancel my stop now at 86.80 on this break because that's not happening. We're going to watch out for this break right now, 87.50. So that will be 100% out of this trade because, again, if it goes great, we're here for the move. But if it doesn't go, we also have to show some sort of discipline and get out of that one. Just like we did on Intel, man. No matter what your lines are up to, we had Michael Noss on earlier and was like, this is what the charts look like, so this is what it's telling me. So I trade off of those, right? And that's what Intel's telling me right now. Into this VWAP, into the 50 period and a rejection of VWAP, we're taking some more out. So yeah, okay. Palantir just right now below our entry price, so this could be an interesting play again for anybody looking at Palantir, now dropping. So we have half left now. That was a good out. We just got some out at 30s, right? We had 55%. We got out 5%. We're going to drop them all out if this breaks below 87.50, and we'll stop an L on the breakout trade. But again, took advantage of the dip. There's not too much continuation right now. I mean, Google is, but nothing else really. Yeah, like you got to take your profit on these bounces. At least that's what's been happening. We just got to VWAP on the NASDAQ. I found something that I might like for a short better than AMD. We just got to VWAP on the NASDAQ. But here's IonQ. I remember these were in play. Well, I saw some people putting them in the chat. It's like, yeah, they were in play today, gapping up. Yeah. Respecting VWAP all morning long. Nice upward trend. If it loses the trend, I can have a short with a tight stop at the prior high. So we're going to look at this IonQ. And we have free locates on it as well on IonQ. Not that I expect to have to pay for shorts here, but it's always nice. Sometimes in that. Okay, we're getting more out. Those. Are you all right, long? So IBIT, I'm only long IBIT, and if we close underneath, it'll be about 24.90 if this bar in the 3-minute close underneath. I'm going to short IonQ, and IBIT's the only long that we're still in, or at least I'm still in, and it's holding the higher low for now. Still have that. When I try to get more, I'm canceling that. If we break this, the new trend that we just put on, then I will jump out. So it's either VWAP 52 to 52.20, or we lose trend on IBIT and jump out, look for the next opportunity here. The market's trying to follow through. It could still happen. I mean, we just got back to VWAP on the NASDAQ. It absolutely could still happen. It's just that we started stalling out there a little bit. NVIDIA didn't give us any chance at 116, but it now has this going on for it here, where you've got a bit of a double. There's one higher low, there's another higher low. So it has a trend that it could also break out. It'll look a little bit better on the 15-minute in terms of how much room it has to go. But right off of afternoon resistance and breaking a trend on the 3 for NVIDIA. That could be a long right back up here through 120.
What's up, Brando?
The sheep?
Yeah, we ain't no sheep with this trade though, man. We try to make our own decisions over here, and with Palantir, oh boy, it just came up to 88.50 again. So yeah, we're pretty happy. There's getting back into our 1-to-1 again. We didn't get stopped out. It came down to 70s. That's not that close for us. Now, okay, Neil. Okay, Neil. Here's a nice move. We're at the high spot. Another one that we've been at all day because we. And then look at Intel, man. This is what we talk about. Everyone's saying about, giving that advice in the chat. I said, stick with your guns. That's the number one thing. Adara we had that graphic, be confident. I mean, it's just, everyone be confident in your own trades. But there's that Intel play. It was the number one idea here on the sticky note today. We lost it when it broke through 24.25 that first time right here. Okay, but we got it right back, and now it's just cruising to the upside. Google right now, we just got 170. We just got 170.80. So right there, that's $1.40 on that play. Tesla. I mean, wow, we're green on this name, but we lost it right there. We have to admit it, man. We did get stopped out at 295. It does work down to 293 and change, but look at Tesla going, and oh boy, to my guy OB, because there it goes. It's $1 right now on Palantir. It's almost $1 right now on Intel. It is $1.25 right now on Google as this market is going, Neil, and there we go. We do break through the VWAP spot right there, so this is exactly what we're talking about all day, man. Stay with us, and hopefully we can take you to that promised land. But for right now, we got to take you to Adara.
We're going to open this crypto segment here with the Truth Social post heard around the world. This is Trump's crypto post. I'll just read it out here. A U.S. crypto reserve will elevate this critical industry after years of, I guess, what he viewed as a taxer, which is why his executive order on digital assets directed by the Presidential Working Group to move forward on a crypto strategic reserve that includes XRP and the ADA. So apparently they're directing the Presidential Working Group to work on this crypto strategic reserve. He said he will make sure that the U.S. is the crypto capital of the world. So that came out at 10:24 a.m., I guess, because Bitcoin and Ethereum weren't mentioned. Then he made a follow-up post about 2 hours later saying that, of course, Bitcoin and Ethereum will also be mentioned because he loves them both. So that's really the situation there, just to read that post, saying that this crypto reserve is in the works. This is the 15-minute chart here in Bitcoin. You can see this push to the upside here. We get as high as 95,000, starting this move at around 85,000. Then, though, we get this push to the downside off the open along with the market, and we get to this 91.5 level, start to find a little bit of resistance. Well, that was previous support on the 15-minute chart, so 91.5 interacting here for Bitcoin. Here's the daily chart. And this 91.5 level, a little bit of interest for Bitcoin on the daily as well. So certainly an area to be aware of for BTC. But in terms of other crypto, what are we doing? This is an announcement that could really impact the whole industry. There's actually not much of a move in some of these names here. Ethereum up about 1%, XRP about 5%, Solana basically flat. Cardano, though, responding very well, almost at that $1 level here, up 23%. Dogecoin up about 3%, guys. So really mixed moves across the crypto space, even though this announcement could theoretically impact a lot of these names and sentiment towards the industry as a whole. Back to you.
Oh boy, oh boy.
Thank you very much, Dara, and appreciate that. You're still getting a little choppy action in BTC off of that bottom, but it's still holding. Nope, never mind. We just broke that. We just broke underneath that prior bar. So there's your trend line to the upside. We had the long a couple times on this move. Started it at 50.80, added back in at 51.2, but you haven't been able to break that 52 level. So trend in, trend out is pretty much always the way that I'm going to go. NVIDIA did make the break on its trend line, hit enter twice, didn't quite get the break of that prior bar. So still sitting there. We might get picked up at 119.5, higher lows on NVIDIA. Market is still at VWAP, and the only short, well, I said AMD possibly, but then INQ looked a little bit better to me anyways. So INQ has yet to really break underneath this trend line. Once it does, that's the short I'm looking for. With the market looking strong, I'd rather be in something which is setting up nicely. Let's go to Adara. We've got another news story.
Comments here on tariffs from Howard Lutnick. That is the Secretary of Commerce in this new administration. So he's basically said right now to CNN that Donald Trump will be deciding on the tariffs today, and they will, quote, put it out on Tuesday. So tariffs being decided officially today. The announcement will be made as expected on Tuesday. So we're going to have to wait and see what happens there. But just a quick update on the tariff situation from Howard Lutnick. Back to you.
All right. Yeah. So yeah, Tariff Tuesday happening tomorrow. Join us all day tomorrow as we'll be having all of that. And just like we are today, anything Adara hears will be broadcasted here, and we'll throw over to her immediately as she analyzes sort of all this breaking news. So thanks to Adara for all of that. Okay, man, let's not get too silly here. We've got to the high of the day for ourselves. We really dip bought many of the best names for us. Google, huge dollars, man. I mean, Intel's been really a great trade today. And then Palantir as well. We emptied out the clip. Unfortunately, 89.50 was about as high as we got. We have less than 25% left of our breakout trade now. And again, we're still indicating down here 87.50 if it does break. I mean, we just took $1.30 on this trade. So to give the last 20% 50 cents, I think that's about what we want to do, man. We want to try to create, like I said, we're not just trying to trade, we're trying to like generate wealth opportunities here. And if you can get, some of these trades in, start to bank them every day and then up your share size, then you can really start to turn on the faucet a little bit and hopefully the money will come out of that. So we'll wait to see, but that's all that I'm doing. Trying to trade a little bit higher on the share size, try to be responsible, not hold necessarily for the dream, but definitely try to hold pieces to come up to levels to make it well worth it, right? So that's what we're doing, and I'm going to stay on Google right now, but at the same time, what sort of brought on that little talk there was that we got to have risk measurements, because you can't just fly by the seat of your pants, So we're getting some more out here. I like getting out on tops. Obviously, we all do. But you don't know where the top is. So that's why you hold a little bit. And I'm just going to keep marking tops as VWAP and as 200 period moving averages. I put the RSI, which is down here as well. And I know it's going to be a little hard to see, but whenever we get above 70, the 75 is a marker, but I'm going to watch out for 70s. So that's going to be a little bit of an oversold situation. My voice still a little bit gone there. We were yelling at an elimination chamber. We had a great time over the weekend. My daughter had a game yesterday. They lost 2-1, but that's okay. I get another one tonight in Leaside. Man, we are traveling everywhere. I get home and I got to be in Leaside for 6:30. Like it's an absolutely insane schedule, but one that I would not trade for anything. So, and then my kid also snowboarding his very first time. He was in the amateur or novice level and he got bumped up. He skipped novice and went right to intermediate. So I'm really proud of him for that one. Now he can snowboard without sort of anybody assisting or monitoring. The freestyle is what they call it. He can do now on that one. Freestyle. So, okay, Palantir dropping down below, but we're very, very comfortable in the positions that we have. And with that being said, that was a call for Adara, wasn't it? Or Neil. So let's go to Neil then.
Well, so that no one will miss out on this opportunity, traders, the first month is free over at eSignal. They are waiving fees. We always talk about it. Well, not just trading, I mean everything in life. You want to do it smarter and not harder in all facets, especially into trading. So you talk about whether or not you're into technical analysis, whether you just want level 2 access so that you can see where the liquidity is going to be at any given level. It's all there for you. Back testing, forward testing, API access, reliable data in a highly customizable format is what eSignal is going to be able to provide to you. So we talk about the tick replay oftentimes. You're able to see those liquidity events, like when that Intel story came out, you can go back, replay it, see what the level 2 might have looked like, see if you couldn't glean something for the next time you have that news. You can all do it in one spot. The balance locator is available there for you as well. All kinds of scanners, real time. And as I said, highly customizable. With 1 month free, there's just no reason not to try it out. So shout out to eSignal if you want to execute and up your trading game. That's a good place to start. Scan that QR code you see in front of you. Also, you can check the link in the description. And I had Palantir up here. Actually, I know why I had Palantir up there. But before I get to that, let's go back over just a couple of things. While we were doing that, NVIDIA bounced off of the higher low. It got from 119.3 to I didn't get it, but it got up to 119.98. I got filled at like 70 something, and then it broke the prior bar low. And you're right back down to the doldrums, down 5% NVIDIA today. That stock, although lately, I suppose like 5% ain't what it used to be. NVIDIA's been doing that all the time. Like it's just different. Like I think we're seeing these kinds of moves more, especially off the open. INQ did break trend, got short here at 25, like 25.02, same thing. Looks like it wants to head lower. It's got a nice little higher low at 24.60. We'll look to catch the bid. I wanted to get a reload with money fills a little tighter to VWAP, because VWAP's at 25.20 is the prior bar high. So I was looking for fills a little bit higher. So I'm going to still stick a couple in there to see if we can't get that one short. And obviously, I said I wasn't going to short AMD and I would short INQ. At least for now, that actually looks like a good decision. So usually I would just blindly short AMD at VWAP, but it didn't look good when it got there. And now it's holding the bid. So suddenly AMD, it doesn't look all that bad. Market is kind of pulling back, and this is holding a higher low. So I think it was the right call to pivot from that AMD short. Let's go to Sean before.
We'll go over here quickly. We'll flush down a little bit of a toilet there as Palantir came back in, but we reloaded Google right now, so Google looks to be strong here off that dip buy opportunity. Wow, look at that. That was a nice move. All the way down into the 50 period. We just, as Neil was talking, we bought those 170.30s, man, and here's a nice little move right back to the top side. So let's get a little bit. Oh, we just missed getting out. Oh, did we get filled? There we go. We got filled now. So nice little out there, 50 cents back into the reload there. Unfortunately, our Palantir did go downside a little bit now, more out of Google, but Palantir does break below 88, so we do wind up getting out of that one. But Google and Intel right now. Intel had great news. Again, we talked about the foundry there, maybe with TSMC, and then Donald Trump, of course, as we get ready for Tariff Tuesday. What's up to my main guy, Rahim Alani from OCI, is in the building looking like a sharp-dressed man that he is. So what's up to Rahim? How are you doing, my guy? Don't mean to blow your scene up, but you are in the building, and we really appreciate that. So we'll get going, but right now we do got to go back over to Adara at the desk.
So what we're going to do here is take a look at this market. What is moving the market to the upside? I mean, the market's generally flat right now, giving up a lot of that early upside push. But what sectors are doing well? Health technology really strong here. Consumer non-durables, utilities, with the exception of CEG, sharply to the downside. We have consumer durable story led by Tesla, communications, all looking really good here. Finance, a pretty good look as well. Now, what's weak? It seems to be a lot of these big tech plays. NVIDIA here, ANET sharply weak in electronic technology. Technology services here, Microsoft to the downside, Oracle pretty weak. Also got an upgrade this morning, but Palantir doing quite nicely, trying to bounce back after a bit of a different week for that stock. Producer manufacturing pretty weak here as well. So definitely mixed sentiments here in this market, but you could see once again that it's not necessarily the whole market that's weak. It's just these tech leaders really muddying the waters, guys. Back to you.
Then, thank you, Ms. Adara. As Neil and I debate switching over to wearing blazers every day, so we'll see if we can do that. Maybe because this guy, we just keep getting showed up.
So we got sharp.
At the beginning, we're like, you know what, the people, everyone watching, probably sitting at home, looking to invest in some of these businesses, and a lot of day traders, of course, wear casual. But we could spice it up a little bit around here. But Adara's always, everyone's looking dapper every day. So we're being our. Joe always looks like he's on the runway anyways, so whatever. And then Sharif, I don't know, I think Sharif's bench pressing somewhere. He's going to be coming on to the show in just a couple minutes. With only 18 minutes left, get ready for the midday show with Joseph and Sharif, where they'll be talking about small cap names. I mean, they'll talk about everything, but more primarily smaller cap names on the midday show. We'll check out some runners. One runner that I want to look at was Big Bear AI. This is one of my plays for the year, man. I like the drip right here that's events just happened. We talked about this last week on an Instagram reel that we put out. I like gold. I liked Big Bear AI. You know we like Berkshire. That's another name that we're in there as they continue to raise all of that cash. It's all about that cash. Anyways, Google, a lot of cash on hand for Google. Will they have to pay the DOJ? Will they have to pay someone in Europe? Will they have to pay someone in China? Who knows? But let's just keep that money going.
Chump change though.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I mean, hopefully these guys, Sundar Pichai will just write that check. If you want to advertise with Google Pixel on our show, I mean, that'd be great as well, Sundar. I mean, we have a lot of people interested in your Google Pixel.
It is a fantastic phone.
Exactly. So I think that would be
anybody that doesn't use the Google Pixel.
Yeah, is a fool. Yeah, exactly. And that is for sure. So definitely sign up with Google Pixel ASAP. I remember buying the very first Google Pixel. I think it was like a Nexus or something, Google Nexus, and then they switched them over to Pixels. So I definitely like that. Now I am an Apple guy. All right, 171 right now. The Diamond Handman is here as we're trying to hold on, man. Not only that, this is what we did. We got the reload right there, and that was very key. Down into the 50-period moving average on Google. So we take that reload really seriously when we're able to get it. So that's what we did. We talked about it. We put that on the board right now. Take out one more piece here at 89. There it is, man. Let's see if Google can run the rest of the day. We're going to get back to the gym today. We're going to start going swimming a little bit. And then that's that. So being sick over the last couple weeks, I think I lost like 5 pounds. We'll see if we can keep that going. I figured the best way to lose weight is to not eat. And that definitely was working.
Well,
so yeah, I mean, or just not eat, but eat right when you do. I mean, I think that's, like right
you
here.
Definitely want to eat.
Today we had the English muffins, sausage and cheese. Like you got to kind of avoid that maybe.
No egg.
If there was the egg in there.
No, that's...
That's okay,
There's
but
nothing wrong with that.
I just worry about that.
You don't need the
sausage was.
The sausage is okay, and the cheese is okay. It's not the end of the world. There's worse things you can eat. It's really just. I feel like it's all the bread if you cut that.
Well, yes, and I thought, oh, is it Ramadan today? Okay, well, happy Ramadan if that's true. I'm going to say that because it's in the chat. But if it's, I haven't vetted that, but happy Ramadan. If that's the case, so I guess there's people fasting all over the world right now. Then I guess so. Congratulations.
Well, VWAP's busting out. Oh, come on.
Yeah, man, we are just huge right now.
Let's go, Apple. All right, Apple just broke VWAP. There's the higher low. I want to see that trend back into the upside. I caught it on the way down, but now we're going to look to get a bit of a bounce off of this VWAP. I just heard something about Mullen, but
just something about reverse splitting or something.
No way.
No, I was joking. No, I was getting some sort of a pop.
Oh, no, you said that. I was like...
Really? They reverse split last week, wasn't it?
It's just, I don't know. I get sick of the fact that the way that things happen over there at Mullen. Like, they've reverse split more than any other stock. I heard something about rules along those lines that they might actually finally limit the number of times you can reverse split to regain compliance. So IonQ still holding underneath VWAP, but I do want to get either into, I just showed you Apple off of VWAP, or if we can put another higher low here in IBIT, you're holding on to the 90,000 level. So 90,000's about, it's like this low here, but 51.10 to 51.20. As long as that can hold on, I want to see if we can jump back into IBIT. For now, it's still putting in lower highs, but the long's been working, so I don't want to completely give up on it. At least when I've taken it, the long's worked. Obviously, it's trending down, but taking some reversions of those downward moves has worked on IBIT. That's a better way to put it. So that, or Apple, or IonQ reload. Apple would be a bounce off VWAP, and it holding this trend from the bottom. So that's the next few plays for me. Still about 15 minutes to go. I've seen a lot of people in the chat, and shout out to Billy F, shout out to Trisha, saying TRNR has been ridiculously strong. The only thing I caution is this is a stock which has failed the pre-market high break, hasn't broken the low. That's the big thing. It has not broken that low of the prior day high, but it's still kind of a fail of that top. It's not usually a setup that I love where you failed the pre-market high break and are putting in lower highs. I like these better when they show you they can make another high and break out that $4 level, but it's on the radar for sure, the TRNR, because it's done 65 million shares in volume for $3 stock. So shout out to everyone that's on that one. For me, it's still not looking strong enough, though.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not seeing too much strength looking at different stocks right now. I mean, we can look elsewhere. I just want to say, I'm getting out of Google. We topped out there at 171, so we're getting less and less. I mean, if this breaks 170, we're out. That was a good move up, and we took advantage of it. So I don't even, that might even be too low. Let's go to 170.20. Like, I just, this market's a little bit much right now. I just, you know, I've been watching Palantir, the way that's been breaking. So it's just a bit too much right now in the market. So we'll wait. Oracle, Uber, let me check out Uber right now, getting a little bit of a note on a scanner here. Remember, we do have different alerts hitting. This is an e-signal. You can definitely scan the QR code right there to get our watch list. But when the e-signal QR code comes up, we also have a link in description. Grab 1 month free. Oracle, SMR, AMD, PayPal, Amazon, all triggering in for some local looks for me. And then right here on the trade rate, Nova, N-O-V-A, right now, Nova Pharmacy, Sonova, okay. Right now, yeah, 70 million shares. Right now, Nova, 51%, so that's hitting on the trade rate, obviously. Tesla now back down to 298. Neil's in IonQ, so that's on the trade rate here. IBIT, or maybe not in, but we're definitely looking at it. I can't see anymore because we have, there's e-signal. Oh, there, he's in it, okay, good. There's TSLA, of course, that's a derivative of Tesla, Palantir, and then, of course, Strategy, which is no longer a micro strategy, it is a major strategy. And MSTR holding nearly similar to my position, 500,000 Bitcoins. Wow. So yeah, Michael Saylor et al. Were very excited when they saw Donald Trump sort of give that boost to the market. We'll see if crypto can hold out. And again, with his speech to Congress later on tonight or tomorrow for Donald, I think it's tomorrow, for Trump, maybe something happens with crypto, and we're all waiting to see that announcement. Plus, we're expecting something on Friday as well. There it is, 2480 for Intel. You got to take advantage of this, man, as we only have 10 minutes left, and then I'm out of here, and we'll come back and trade a little bit during the afternoon, and then, of course, at 2 p.m. again as well. So just trying to get some out. Our stop on Google's right here. It's about to break. We break down below 20. We're out of Google on a good reload and out of some of those shares, obviously, on that. So, yeah. So far, so good. One thing that we've ignored, though, today, I'm going to get some more out here on Google as we'll take advantage of this move and see if we get some 50s. We haven't talked too much about the U.S. dollar, so let's go check in with Adara at the desk and find out what's going on in the space of Forex.
Here's the U.S. dollar's daily chart here. So last week broke out pretty nicely of this downtrend we've had more or less since the start of the year, with this peak happening here on Monday, January 13th. Today, though, this is quite the bearish engulfing candle, giving up the last 2 days of price action for the DXY. If you missed it, we had a slightly higher than expected here print for the S&P manufacturing PMI, but a lower than expected print for the ISM manufacturing PMI. So some mixed PMI data coming through. Construction spending also slightly lower here on a month-over-month basis. But interestingly enough here, this area that we're trying to bounce off for the DXY is previous resistance going back to April 2024, that 106 halves level. So we'll have to wait and see what materializes there. But I think that level is certainly of note. Also of note here is the Fed funds tool. This is for the March 19th, 2025 meeting. In about 2 weeks from now, we have participants here pricing, and 93% of participants expecting there will be a 93% of participants expecting no change, 7% expecting a slight cut. This is interesting too because this number has been pretty volatile. We usually see it mostly move in one direction. But a month ago here, 86% of participants expecting no change. A week ago, 96% of participants expecting no change. And then that number lessened as of last week to 92%. So the amount of people expecting a lack of change here in the rates has changed a little bit. So we're going to have to wait and see. But it seems like there could be some volatility, at least relatively speaking, on this metric heading into that meeting, guys, on March 19th, 2025. Back to you.
Oh, yeah, it's 2 weeks, not one.
I didn't realize. I didn't even realize it was that March 19th. That's going to come quick.
Well, I was just sort of saying I thought that was, 7% seems pretty high for next week, but it's not next week. It's 2 weeks from now, so that's going to get to 99%. It'll just take a little bit longer. A couple of updates here. I am out of IonQ. It did the curl. It went back into this prior high at 24.6. We jumped out of it. If we get another shot at VWAP, don't mind taking it again. And then Apple, while all that was going on, Apple bounced off of this kind of tight trend line that we had, tried to get back into 242.5, lasted about a couple of minutes, and then it broke trend to the downside. I didn't short it, I just got out of the long. So I'm not really looking short on Apple. Kind of a red to green story here. These are the names that I'm going to continue to watch in addition to Bitcoin. And not everybody's, but that TRNR that we were just sort of talking about. It's now holding VWAP. This one, it's got $4 or $3.96 is the current high. And if you look at the daily chart, which I didn't, a lot of times I say always when in doubt, zoom out, and then I don't show you guys the daily chart. But $4 has a lot of these wick tops in there. So 4 is a pretty key level. I always look for in the middle of the day, kind of like a break to show it can take the new high and then put in a nice little higher low somewhere that you can be long, kind of back into one of these levels instead of having to take the break and then suffer that pullback. I'd rather be when everyone is getting stopped out of the breakout trade, trying to collect the long just after it. So TRNR is on the radar. I should probably at least look to see if I can get or price locates. Not that I want to go short, but I like the flexibility. Not much happening in Bitcoin now, holding that 90-70 level. Same range where we got out of the long, the second long the last time. So I'm not really seeing too much of an opportunity there yet, again, on Bitcoin. So I want to get back into IBIT if it starts going, Apple if it can hold VWAP, which it's not doing currently, or INQ short off of VWAP a second time at 25. Those things I'm watching for next. At this point, like Palantir was good early, INQ's been okay, but like Apple was a loss and Intel was a loss. And I haven't really gone back over to Intel because it just traded away from that level so quickly after that.
Oh boy.
Was it TSM news?
Intel, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it was the same news we had before, just Trump confirming some of that investment there. Okay, so in a play that we don't have on our sticky note, but we went over here real early, man. 10 o'clock, that's 9:55. And we had talked about it when we had gone over some of the recap for the morning and what notes that we had. I liked Google into 170. So there's the 170. Obviously, we bled all the way down in. We were able to pick something up down there at 169. And again, if we like 170, we got to give it $1, man. You got to give some kind of room to Google, and we were able to buy then 169.50, which at that time was the low. It did pop back up, took $1, all of a sudden cranked again down there to 10 o'clock on consumer confidence, I believe it was ISM. So that was a nice downside move, and we talked about it. Even as we were taking this trade, man, we were like, okay, here we go, like will 169 hold? And again, we're now long at 170 right there, but this was the biggest trade for me of the day, down at 169, giving it 40 cents, and then now taking on a 40-cent worth of risk, taking $1.40 now. So that's been really pay dirt, and then we'll wait now to see if we can get VWAP and all. But you know what? Like Tesla, to me, I think is kind of lining up to be a little bit of a trade now because, you're just stuck between the 50 period and the 200 period, but trying to ramp up, or ranch, ranch dressing,
ranch
or
is
you
fine
could
too. You
could also live on a ranch if you want to as well. That might be nice. But at the end of the day, these bottom wicks, we'll see if it can continue to stair step upside. But if you're in Tesla, I'd be very weary of it's still giving it up, right? You're still bouncing off the 200 period moving average. So the trend definitely has not changed. Still looks like we're starting to, you could go high, and then buy right now to the downside. So we're still not really making any new highs at any time like that. So for Tesla, so I can't get I can't get bullish on it on these levels. I still like the Chef Joe pointed out down here before it happened, man. You were talking about this at 300, down there to 293. I feel like you want to wait, maybe give some 295 love, but I'd be patient with this one as we just start to get out of everything, including, like we just said, Google and Intel. IBIT, you're out of that as well, but that had a nice move off the bottom as well as crypto got down to 89 and change, back up there to 92, now 91. So we'll wait to see what happens there. Why does PayPal keep showing up on my radar? 70, is it just because it's bouncing off of VWAP? Yeah, so, all right, so still bouncing. I just got a couple alerts on this in the last couple minutes, so it just means we're bouncing near VWAP again, so that's kind of like whatever, as many of these stocks do that. One name, Amazon, and again, the guys on the midday show will most likely trade a little bit more runners, as that's more Sharif style, but still able to look at everything. Make sure you do put in the chat questions for these guys, comments and concerns, and everything. Same with us. Any stock you want us to look at, we'll do our best to try to do that.
Might have a new one here.
And I was just going to look at Amazon underneath VWAP down 1%, so this will be a short for me as well today.
Have yet to look at SMCI, flat bottom break SMCI, 39. Now that I say it, it's probably going to bounce.
You had to pay for shorts.
That's right. Well, I haven't looked at it today, so I haven't paid for the shorts, as Sean just reminded me, because we always have to, but it's not at 39 yet. It's still about 1% away, down 5%. There's Friday's low. Technically, that's 38.86. Today's low is above 39, but if it breaks Friday's low, obviously that's kind of what I'm getting at. For SMCI, was a sell the news type of event when they finally reported. And even if you break this little flat bottom, you've got next level 37.5, which is this bottom here, and then the 50 period. So there's room to the downside on SMCI. Yeah, it's been a rough go for them since they reported their earnings. Everyone was kind of geared up for it, but the problem was it got bought up in anticipation that they were going to meet the deadline and file. So by the time it happened, everyone just started taking their profits. Like the stock went 3x, or at least 250% from that prior low here, like $25, $26. Yeah, I'm going to look for the breakdown of Friday's low on SMCI, maybe even short some pops. So that and IonQ are the stocks I'm looking short, and IonQ's not going to get back to VWAP. Looks like it's just headed lower and lower and lower. Nvidia's about to make some lows. Apple, which I thought was starting to look strong, and we could maybe grab some longs off VWAP, that's now breaking down as well. I got to go pay for those locates on SMCI because, yeah, I wasn't anticipating trading it.
All right, one more reload. Yeah, good look there. We're getting ready to wrap this thing up. So one more reload here on Google at 32 if we can get it. Okay, so there it is. So, oh no, we didn't, okay, well now we got partially filled, but now we have the full thing. If this breaks through 10 more cents, we're out. This risk to reward right here is ridiculous. I really like this opportunity right now on Google. I just, to give it that much room, maybe we get a little bit of a bounce up into the 50s again, and we can just sort of, scalp some of this out. That might be worth it. But again, if we drop below 20s right now, we're gone. The market's faded out again. We just looked at the charts and said like, okay, not sure we love this. And yeah, it looks like we're going to be right as it's starting to give. Okay, here we go. All right, whatever. We'll see if we can take 5% for 10 cents, pay a little bit of bills right there. But it looks like we are getting some downside pressure. We've been getting out of all of our longs, and I'm not sure what this day is going to bring. But if you just look at the chart, we had a huge move off the open, and now we just kind of rejected VWAP twice. We're starting to head lower. We're underneath the 50-period moving average. So if you're going to play the long, I think you're better off waiting for this because we're going to start testing a little bit lower now. So I'm going to be a waiter down here at 20,000. Well, I'm going to go, but this is where I'm going to be bidding. 20,800 if you're looking at the futures. I would give it up. There goes Google, right? I'm not going to slap a fail. I'm just going to slap an alarm. I mean, Google has been a great stock for me today. It's my #1 stock. It's a great one there, and no problem. As I told you guys that we are making some changes around here. Has Rob taken apart some computers in the back or some? You
can't make an omelet without breaking a few eggs.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think he broke it.
No, he didn't break it.
A little bit loud. We have the computers are on brackets and things like that, so taking them down can be quite the job there. So I feel like
that's a thing, Rob. That's a thing that another thing that kids will be like, huh? PCs?
What is a PC?
Big, massive box that you need to put on a little rack.
Well, my kid's a gamer, so he has a box. Yeah,
it's 11 o'clock, everybody. We're going to get on over to the midday in a quick second. Someone asked thoughts on Rigetti. I looked over at IonQ, not Rigetti today, but the charts are eerily similar. I just wanted to zoom out to show you Friday's little higher lows at 810 or so. That's once it's held. Maybe a second chance you'd get it. I'm looking more over at IonQ as the trade, and that has been bouncing kind of off the same area, like that 24 Friday support areas as well. So I've been watching IonQ for the VWAP short, and then you have a double bottom at 24. We're getting very, very similar chart. SMCI, possible flat bottom break as well if you look at Friday's lows. And you got the Bash Brothers coming in there. 100 P. We've got Joey Options, and Sharif the Professor. Go get it.
See you guys.
See ya.
Boom! What is up, beautiful people?